What's up, everyone? We are live. New setup. We're going to be talking about getting canceled, working with publishers, working with creators, and just what it's like being in the world of indie comics and the ups and downs. And this is going to be a very heartfelt discussion with a creator that I'm longtime friends with. We've been making comics for a while. We've actually worked on several comics together. And I think for this stream, it's just more like a cathartic, we're just gonna like throw everything out on the table. And really, I think what I hope, and maybe I don't know, I'll have to ask Travis, like what he hopes for this stream is to, I don't know, if you're an indie creator who's maybe like, what the F is this place? What's going on? Just to like know that, hey, this stuff happens. This is how you can navigate it. And this is how you can like honestly stick around in making comics, because man, like I think I made a stream last year that said basically like creators are dropping like flies, and a lot of it is either because of like emotional or mental problems where they're just like they can't hack the community, they can't like hack like the stress of running their business, or like, you know, learning how to grow and whatnot. But then also the stress of then like if they start making comics, you know, maybe they make a comic and they realize, oh crap, like this is actually really hard to make a comic, and then it's really hard to get it printed, and it's really hard to fulfill on time and whatnot. And so honestly, it's just gonna be a really chill stream. Jude, like my cousin Liduva would say, incorrect, it'd be the indie crowdfunding world. Yeah. Well, I'm gonna bring that up actually. Because Lee Duva, no offense, it's almost annoying, but it's okay. But every tweet, they're like, indie comics doesn't have a problem. It's the indie crowdfunding scene. I'm like, I know. Like, once I see a notification, I'm like, I know exactly what they're going to say. Specs Vision, yeah, new layout. Yeah. So I don't plan on streaming very much until I get all my books out. But I have this little setup right here. I have, like, right here my iPad setup, which is where I do all my line art, and then I'll bring it over here to do my like gray tones and whatnot and stream. Yeah, like this is the main step. I got a new camera as well, which I'm like having fun like playing around. It's like good quality, which I like. Everyone has like that Logitech 9C20, which is a great camera, but man, spend an extra like $80 to $100 and get yourself the Elgato face cam. Like, looks fantastic. We got CJ in the house saying, "Hail, this was an old hail. Student of God, how are you doing?" We got Specs Vision, and we got Pat Shan bathroom break taking way too long. Absolutely. All right. So real quick, guys, I don't use StreamYard very much, so I need to learn about it and get better at it. Let me pull up these. Travis has got some links for me, and I want to make sure I get them on the screen before I bring him in. All right, here we go. I'm a freaking StreamYard noob. I've been loving OBS. All right, here we go. Travis, what's up, man?
What is up? You ready to debate this? You ready to fight? You said chill. That is not what I signed up for. I signed up for aggressive talks about how we've been screwed over by everyone, and everyone is wrong.
I will say, I feel like if there was a game called How Many Bridges Can Tyler Burn in the indie comics community, I feel like you would be my final boss, because you'd be like.
I'm up for the challenge. I'm up for the challenge.
You're like the last man standing.
my wife, that's one of the things that my wife doesn't love about me is like I just forgive and care about people so much. And every time I get in a feud where I'm very similar to you, that I'm like, I kind of want to forgive them. She's like, they did this. Why? Like, you don't need them in your life. Yeah, I know, but you know, what about? She's very stuff, and sometimes she's right. I need her to tell me like. You don't need to.
Who's more Christian, you or your wife?
Different aspects. We both have different aspects.
Okay.
I love people like as a whole.
Okay. So I now want to hear what her part is.
I have that, but she is she has the heart of Christ. Like when she loves someone, she fights with every ounce of her being.
Okay.
Like the like agape love, you know, the like I am ride or die, like aspect of it. It's insane. Like I don't even know how to like handle it. Like it's nuts. It's nuts. So
gotcha. Someone told me that they go maybe the reason why you have so many problems in any comics is because of that Christian aspect where you're a little too forgiving and you go like you're able to look past it, but when like really like these people are bad. These people are actually bad and they legit are gonna screw you over. So maybe
I think that's the difference. Heather sees it in her job. You know, my Heather works in child safety, so she sees the bad of humanity on the regular. And I'm like, nah, humanity's good. Some people are just assholes.
Yeah, I have this.
A lot of assholes tonight.
Yeah, I have this like, and I want to do a comic on it, and it's like, it's called. Okay, my kid refuses to sleep. I hate it. I can hear him screaming. I want to do this comic. It's a one shot called "We Were Heroes," and basically, it's just like the final day of Earth. Like there's just a like alien invasion. They're gonna wipe out humanity, and you kind of see like the buildup of the comic and of the story, and you're getting this narrative of like this superhero, and he's like the last man standing. But then beside him is like a police officer, and then you have a liberal, and then you have someone from the LGBTQ, and then you have a China, and you just have everyone from Earth, and it was just like everyone's coming together for like this one common good. And like I'm like, oh, like people are good, and then I go outside and I'm like, nah, man, people suck. People suck. But deep down, I want people to be good. Before we get into this, because I want to do like a beginning, middle, and end for anyone who pops in the stream. You do have a Kickstarter going on right now. You have 44 hours ago. Tell us about Voodoo Nations, just briefly for like 30 seconds. Then we'll.
We're going to talk about it in the screen because that's one of the ones.
It's part of it.
Yeah, so Voodoo Nations, it is it's about two missionaries who go to Brazil. They meet up with this evil voodoo priest, the guy on the left. He kind of messed up their life and their marriage. The husband dies. He resurrects him with the spirit inside of him, and the husband goes nuts. The wife is trying to save the husband and goes to Brazil, goes to New Orleans, goes to all these places to save the husband while he's going absolutely nuts. It's got a lot of intrigue. We got everything from angels to various voodoo priests. We talk about the good of Christianity. We talk about the bad. We talk about the good of voodoo and the bad of voodoo. We talk about religion, all sorts of really fun stuff. I think it's a great book.
There you go, guys. Go check out. I put the link in the chat if this is something that you're interested in. And then, we'll talk about this. I think it's funny because this is part of like the discussion of like navigating indie comics. What's going on with Kickstarter now? But then also
they changed it. It looks different.
Yeah, it was just
go to comics. You'll see. And just like click on a category and you'll see.
Wow, it's like a little more spaced out.
Yeah.
Dude, stop.
Dancy.
Someone's like, so what did you do this week? I'm like, I changed the layout. Like there wasn't a problem with it, but they just wanted them rounded corners. And then also we have the Coins of Judas. Collected edition.
We're also going to talk about that tonight.
And we'll talk about that because this is a book that it's funny because someone on Twitter was like, Tyler, it's really bitch made of you for promoting this book. Even though, and luckily I was at work, but someone was like, hey, like Tyler, someone in the comment section was like, Tyler's never said anything bad about the team or Band of Bards with this situation. Like he's not going to start now.
Right.
So I mean, I have the
your cover you haven't sent me.
Like this right here is, I have it I don't own any plastic cases for my comics, but I found this one. This is like my favorite cover I've ever done. My exclusive Coins of Judas draw and talk cover, which I don't think I've sent you.
No, you haven't.
Even though they're in a box, as I said that, I looked and there's the box that says Travis.
And it's not like I don't buy your Kickstarter, so it's not like it's not like
I don't have your address
or extra shipping. Like you just throw it in a thing. Like there's zero reason I paid for the shipping.
Oh my stars!
But we're also going to talk about your stuff because I want to talk about chefs a little bit. I want to talk about and I want to talk about what's the other one? I want to talk about your insane. Or asylum? What's the original publishing company he worked for.
Oh, insane. Well, let's start with that. Like, ask me away.
All right. So do you mind if I share the narrative so people who are going to watch knows what we're going to talk about?
For sure.
We're going to fucking bitch. That's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about the dramas of both like self-creating something. Like, so that's why I have Chefs and we have Voodoo Nations. Those are Tyler and my stuff, and then publisher problems. So we have Insane and we have Coins of Judas. Tyler happens to be in both Insane and Coins of Judas, but kind of talking about. So we're going to talk about that. You know, both Tyler and I have been canceled. I was canceled because of Tyler, but that's irrelevant.
We have like we're very well rounded with like indie, mainstream, and like working with in all facets, as well as like dipping our toes in almost like every single community. Right. In the indie crowdfunding scene. What do you think about that, by the way, real quick? Someone said the problems are whenever we see like problems or drama, it's in the indie comics crowdfunding scene, not the indie comic scene. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, Action Lab and all the people they screwed over, that wasn't indie drama. That wasn't anything.
Scout Comics right now, their little problem they're going through.
Scout Comics are going through. Jared Luhan called them out for not payment. Some people are talking about that. Rob Liefeld called out Todd McFarlane. You know, like these things are happening. Like it happens in indie comics. I think it only doesn't happen in the big two because it's that's NDAs. Yeah, and probably NDAs. You don't want to be sued by Disney or Warner Brothers, right? You'll lose.
Yeah. Also, you like if you're there, like when you're at the top, which is Marvel and DC, it's now how do I stay in?
Right.
Because you can always do indie comics and figure that out, but like once you hit there, it's like okay, which is why I kind of understand. I'm not saying it's right, but I kind of understand why like some creators are toxic with other creators in like Marvel and DC. It's not that they're like maybe horrible people, but they're like I'm fighting to stay here. I don't want this new talent coming in, not whether it's right or wrong. Specs Vision asked real quick question: is 10,000 plus on Indiegogo equal the same as 10,000 on Kickstarter? I never hear congratulations for projects on Indiegogo making big money.
Here's why. It's harder to know exactly what happened on Kickstarter. It's very clear 30-day campaign. Where on Indiegogo they could have gone the second relaunch, the final last call of this.
The secret link.
The secret link. There's all these other variables that make that less exciting. I ran a 45-day campaign, or I did a second chance campaign after my campaign. So I ran my campaign for 30 days, and then I did it another 30 days because Indiegogo allows you to do that. And it's not that some people don't do a 30-day quick campaign. I just think you have to fucking do MacGyver shit to figure it out of whether or not this is legit. The people who are bragging, I did 75,000 on Indiegogo. Yeah, you did it over 7 years, dude. Like it's a different fucking thing. Yeah. Like, right? Like, sure, if it was my only store, I would do way better.
But if it was like if that was your only, because most people who have those Indiegogos for like 5 years, that's their only book that they're shilling for 5 years, right? Until they finally get it out. Whereas it's like, I only made this because on Kickstarter because it was a 30-day window. Right. Yeah, give me 5 years, and like Megafist one would be like way bigger. But I've sold that amount throughout the other campaigns. If you add, that's another thing though. We can talk about that. It's just like creators like being so like binoculars on like other creators and like why are they doing this and But let's start off with what you're.
I was the same until recently. Like it took me a long time to like really care about this stuff. I actually, that's the only thing I like about this new naked like cover not safe for work thing is because I don't care about that. And I know that there's two classes. There's people who are doing that for money, and there's people who are doing that because they have art. And hey, if I lean into that a little bit, I can make some more money. I don't have a problem with that. I do have a problem with people who are just trying to make money off of it. Like, and not trying to produce art, because what's the point of doing it if you don't want to make art? Like, art for business doesn't work in my brain. I know it's a thing, but it just doesn't make my sense. Same people who sell prints, like prints make no sense to me. I would never buy a print, so I don't know. All right, so we can dive into it. Sorry.
No, sorry, my kid's just like, dude, he's
losing it.
Asshole. Yeah, dude, I went last week. I was in Chicago for a business trip, and my wife was like, he slept, and like I used to be the one that put him down and go to sleep, and he cried for a little bit, and then I was like, hey, baby, you're gonna have to do it because I'm gone for Chicago this whole week. So then she did it. She said she slept like an angel, and like ever since I've been back, he's just been screaming bloody murder.
Like to get you to put him to bed?
No, he just won't go to bed at all.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it sucks. I will say real quick, when I was in Chicago, my dinner every night was like $500, and it was like the best food I've had. And then I came back home, and now like I've been eating shit again.
I had a similar trip with my wife. We both went to Miami, like South Miami, like expensive Miami.
Oh, nice.
And it was her birthday, and I'm just like, let's fucking do it. Like, I don't care if we make money this card, and we did. And then at the end, I was like, we spent a lot of money on just eating.
Dude, I opened up like the menu, and I was like, I had a heart attack just looking at like the prices, and I was like, all right, like maybe I can just eat some appetizers. And I like look at the appetizers, I'm like, oh, those are fucking expensive too. And my coworker is like, oh, what are you getting? And I'm like, dude, I don't know, nothing. And he's like, no, Tyler, don't worry, they're paying for it. The clients are paying for it. I went, okay, thank God, because I can't afford any of this. I can't afford any of this. But we did it like every single night. It was wild. But yeah, let's get into this. My wife was like, he's gonna kill himself. Let's start with Tyler does it for the money. I do. I'll flat out say it. I do. I 100% do that extra cover, and I know that I do it for the money because once I'm done with the overstock, I burn the overstock because I don't want it. I do those covers just for the Kickstarter, and then I burn the excess covers. Because I'm like, yeah, no, I don't want I don't want this. But if people want it, I'll give it to them for a limited time. I burn. Yeah. If anything, it makes the covers even more exclusive.
I don't know what I would do because I don't want my kids finding it. So I don't know what I'm gonna do. You know, my next Granite State Punk has more sexy inside. I'm debating on a sexy cover. I don't really want to do a sexy cover.
Well, it just has to fit with like you've talked to me about it. Like it just has to fit like with Super Plumber Sisters. To me, there's like no point in it, but people buy those covers off that one, and I'm like, that's cool. For like My Sexy Witch Academia, I'm totally okay with it because that's just what that book is. That's the identity of that book. So I'm like, yeah, like totally that can have it. People are asking me for Growth the Megafist. I'm like, no, I don't want to do it for that one. And then Bold Assassin has it because it's in the isekai genre, and that's just very tropey. But yeah, let's start. Let's get into this. Let's talk the beef. Let's talk the beef, and let's go from the beginning because you brought up Insane Comics. That's a long time ago.
Well, I feel like we should share, if we're going to go into beef, if we're going to go into what's wrong with the indie community and what can happen that makes it bad, because that was not the subject matter. More was talking about publishers, and what's going on, but it all stems together. It all fits and flows when we go through it. So Insane Comics, you had a deal.
Yeah.
It was good.
Yes. Well,
and then one day, right, everything wasn't great. Everything wasn't great. And then it became even more not great. Luckily, you had a publisher that gave you back your shit, which is not normal, right?
Yes.
Normal people don't have that. They're still waiting 5 years to put out another whatever because they can't, because publishers are sometimes shitty. So let's start there. Like where you did it, you all in with this company, and they kind of burned you by business practice.
Well, I don't know if they burned me by business practice because I was in college at the time, and so I didn't really know anything about business. Like I remember thinking, oh, I want to do this. And then the publisher was like, you can't do that because I own your work. And I was like, whoa, like I didn't read that in the contract. And I was like, when can I get it back? They go 3 years. I went, whoa, like I should have read. So like I was very naive when I went in with Insane Comics because all I heard was they're going to print my comic, they're going to distribute it to people, and they're going to sell it at cons. And I was like, That's great because I don't know how to do any of that stuff.
Right.
And my book was selling like 200 or 300 copies every single release. And then when they shut down, they had a dedicated email list for every single book. And then they're like legally, they were like, I'm not going to give it to you, which I guess is kind of fine because, you don't want to share user
you
data.
understand now. Like,
I understand now legally. Yeah. But when that happened, I was like, great. I'm like, I have 2 issues left of this book that I've been working on for 3 years, and I'm now back at 0. And that right there, a lot of like, I mean, let's just get into. I'll name names. You don't have to name names, but for those of you who did, okay, I've got for those of you who didn't know, like Larry Higgins and he's the creator of Niobe. We had a big falling out this year, which is unfortunate. I think it's retarded, honestly. Why? But a big thing was that he's very pro going to a publisher and like going all in on that. And I'm very much like, I don't like that. And like, by the way, power to him. I think he's launching a book today. Like, go him in his dreams. For me, like that experience that I had with Insane Comics when I was like, oh my gosh, I gave the power to the publisher. And then once they dropped me, I was like left in the dust. And so that moment, I was like, I will never allow my success to be in control of someone else. So if like the publisher fails, that means I'm not successful. I'm like, no, I want to be the one who's driving, who's in the driver's seat at all times. And that was something I learned with Insane Comics. I'm not gonna say they totally screwed us. I think he expanded a little too fast. But I mean, he gave us our rights back, which was, like you said, like most publishers aren't going to do that. He gave us our rights back. He gave us our final payouts. And then the only thing that did suck was he just shut it down. Like literally like 2 days beforehand, everyone got a message that was like, we're going to do amazing things. We're doing this. And then 2 days later, it was like, we're done. And everyone got sent a payment. And then everyone was told you have your rights back. And then he just disappeared. He like deleted his Facebook and he was gone. And that was it. And at that moment, I kind of decided, I was like, I'll never, ever let a publisher be like the deciding factor if I'm successful or not.
Yeah. And that it has always been I wouldn't say an issue, but like a one thing that we don't come together on in comics, right? Like I have no problems with publishers, even though I've had bad experiences, but I don't let them define me. And you're like, if I never work with a publisher again, you're fucking happy. I'm like, no, I want them to pay me because I'm that fucking good. Like, that's the difference between us and stuff. Just like Jude here, he says, you guys, can you bring up his comment?
Yeah.
He says, you guys don't need to read comics because of print on demand site like that. And there's no need for anybody. Sure. But let's go in it. That book, I'm sorry, I'm struggling with the names right now. What the name of it right now? What was the name of that book?
My book? Demons. Yeah, Demons.
Demons, you said sold about 100 to 200 an issue?
Yeah, 300. Like regularly.
That's more than you ever sold on Kickstarter because I followed it.
Yes, 100%.
So that's why we need a publisher. Well, that's not why you need it, but if your goal is to get as many readers as possible, yes, it's better to do that. I mean, or if you don't care about the financial, just throw it on Webtoons and hope for the best.
Well, it just depends. Like it just depends on like how your mindset. Do you want to make $1,000 with 1,000 people, or do you want to make $1,000 with 100 people? Right. Or can you do both? Like, can you find a way to do both? And with indie comics, you can do both. But I always put priority on the myself, because myself is going to do the $1,000 to 100 people. And then once I've milked out, like done as much as I can right there, then I go, okay, let me then try a direct market. And then even then after that, can I do a digital strategy? Like once everyone who's bought my book in the initial stages can I then just throw my book out for free? Like 5 or 6 years later when no one's talking about it, and then can I bring in like a new audience who reads it digitally and then goes, oh, like there's physicals of this thing.
Yeah, I mean, and Pat makes a good point here. He says direct market does not equate to readers. Correct. comic stores could be sitting on that for forever. So he makes a valid point, but yeah, absolutely. He makes a valid point in that particular stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That is what the shop orders, and the numbers will largely not sell, and you will make sense for every $10. Yeah, sure. I'm not saying that you shouldn't do Kickstarter. I clearly do Kickstarters every day. But you formed your first community there, Tyler. I don't know if you realize, like, you have
Yes.
Cooper and Frank Martin are people you still trust.
Yeah. I still talk with. I'll even say this. I found like I still have like 10 people who luckily found me through social media from those Insane Comics days. And they still have bought my stuff from there. So, but yeah, it was like my first initial, like, that's like where I started with my creator community. Was I met Frank Martin. I met like Steve Benton. Who else was there?
Cooper, what's his name? The
Luke Cooper, yeah, Luke Cooper, yeah, met Luke Cooper. Is he
doing comics right now?
Yeah, he's just a guy who just makes his comic and puts it out through Marcosia.
Because I haven't seen Hollow Girl in a while.
Dude, it's just because social media is not showing you his stuff. I thought the same thing, and I went on his page a month ago, and I was like, oh, he has a new one out. So it's just social media is just not showing, because he's not very active in the community. He's just a guy who likes to make his book, throw it out on Amazon. Someone
in the link just said that they didn't know Voodoo Nations was still around.
Oh, there you go. See, yeah, like, that's why you always have to be like, that's kind of the second thing about the internet is like you can get lost in the algorithm, and that's why you've got to keep like somehow pushing your stuff. But yeah. So Insane Comics was like my first like big, like, that was like my first like dig into like the indie community, and I started joining all these like indie groups, Indie Comic Conspiracy. That's where I met you. Sure. That's where I met you. That's where I met like Chuck Pino. I actually like left that group last week, like officially.
Our Discord like just realized finally that you're gone. They're like, "Where's Tyler?" We have since blended on CJ, but not the particular CJ. We were like, he said it was CJ, but he wrote CJ, not C.J. So we don't.
Yeah, I've left I think I left every like creator Discord and every creator group on Facebook this last week.
Because you have to do everything to extreme. I love you, but that's just the way you.
I was like, I just don't want to see it. I just don't want to be part of it. I see someone like tweet and I go, oh, I should jump in. I go, but what's the point? Like, what's the point of me commenting on this post? There's no point.
You'll just get canceled.
I'll just get canceled. Yeah. But actually, like, with that Insane Comics thing was the reason why I started my YouTube channel.
Okay.
Because I was like, frick, I'm at zero. What do I do? I've got to learn marketing, because I was like kind of going, oh, the publisher would do all the marketing for me, which they were. And then I started my YouTube channel, and then started getting really active on Twitter, and then now I'm talking to you.
Now I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Let's go to the end of the game. So you had 2 more issues to come out. Did that ruin your love for that series at any point? Did you disconnect from it, like, or were you like,
they were done.
Yeah, you're 12 issues and you're done.
Yeah, so those last 2 issues were finished, and the series was complete at that time. If anything, I was just like, crap. Like, I kind of wanted to move on.
Right.
But what happened was I extended my relationship with that series for another 2 years, because then I put it on Kickstarter through the trades. And so there was those 2-3 years where I didn't create anything new, because I was just doing those Kickstarters and learning how to do marketing. So I like wasn't really drawing any new comics. Like, I drew like 2 pages for you for Broke Down. I drew then like Cthulhu for you. I drew a 4-pager for Wendy Gale. Those were the only new comics I had made in that 3 years while I was pushing out demons and learning how to
Rabbi one you did too was good in Jack Holder's book.
Oh yeah, I did the Rabbi. Yeah, I did the Rabbi. So yeah, I was doing like tiny 2 to 4 page stories with a bunch of creators as I was still like growing my YouTube channel and like getting more active in the creator community. But yeah, I was with Demons honestly for like way too long as a series, like creatively, which is why like when I created Chefs, it was like the first book that I was a writer and an artist for. in my stuff, and it was also the first like new thing I'd come up with. So I was like, oh, there's all this excitement, and then it was getting good reception as well. So I was like, yay, like I'm really excited about this series, and then I wasn't excited about the series.
Yeah, so let's. Do you want to go straight into chefs, or you want to have me do one, or you want to go straight? Okay.
Yeah, well, let's do chefs, and then let's get into you, because then we can go into like your Voodoo Nations.
Sure. Yeah, we'll go into Voodoo Nations. I mean, we could technically go into Dog Days if we really wanted to, but that's some deep cuts.
Oh well, okay. Well, let's take a pause on chefs real quick, because during those early days where at my YouTube, I would bring on creators. Like I had like a good, like a lot of creators would come on my show, and I would host a lot of creators, and I would do these like almost like 2 or 3 times a week, like shows to talk with creators about their books. And I remember you came on and you talked about Dog Days, and you were like, I was hired to do this day. I was hired to do this. I'm getting a page rate or something. And it was like super exciting. And then that book was so effing late.
Right.
And you had so many problems with that book. And then I think that's one of, like, besides like stuff that I saw in Comicsgate that was at the time like early Comicsgate, because early Comicsgate was really chill. And then once like EVS came on, that's when all this crazy drama started. So I was like, okay, like there's that drama over there, but then you were having drama with you versus Marcel Dupree, and at the time, like as a newer creator, you look at what Marcel's doing, and you're like, look at this guy. Look at this guy's killing it. Like, he has multiple Kickstarter accounts. He's publishing so many books.
He was the Pat Shan of the time. He was a little goat. He was like a Billy Goat. Little Billy Goat.
He was like killing it. And what was crazy was, like, not only was he killing it, he wasn't really like active in like the communities, like talking. He was just like,
how's he doing it?
Yeah, how's he doing it? And so it was kind of a big deal, like, oh, you're going to be published with Evolutionize and with this book, and they're going to make the art. And wow, what a shit show the production of that book was. So Travis, like, maybe you can explain, because technically when you were working with Marcel, that's with a publisher. That's with a small indie publisher. What went down? What was like some like the problems with it?
So yeah, I just finished up Broke Down. I think I did my second. I came out swinging with Broke Down. I don't think people realize, I had 150 backers and almost 5,000 to 6,000, which on my first go, and that's just
I'm looking for it on my shelf. It's probably somewhere.
Oh, Broke Down. Yeah.
No. Dog Days.
I think I have a copy here. Hold on. I do. Oh, I do. Bam, Dog Days. It did come out eventually. Comicsgate label was after EVS. Oh no, this was early Comicsgate where it was very aggressive. There was a thing called a war campaign where literally the whole thing is to damage people's campaign reputations.
No, that was even before that. I'm talking about like the early like Comicsgate. It was like Nurkish, Doug Ernst, Tim Lim, all the people that got eventually kicked out by EVS. Right. Those that OG like Comicsgate was like really cool.
Yeah. So with Dog Days, let's go. So Marcel came to me and said, "Hey, I'd like you to do a book. I have 12 pages, and I should have seen this as a sign, Tyler. Like, again, this is young and naive."
This was like 6 years ago.
Yeah, he's like, I have a full issue done. I want you to rewrite that issue and do another. I want to do my first graphic novel. And I was like, oh, okay. I didn't sign a contract, didn't do anything. I helped him do all the marketing. I helped curate the Kickstarter. I did all that stuff for him. And then it didn't make as much money as it needed to make. Like, really, that's what happened. Like there's a whole bunch of stories of what Marcel says and this and that, of art and quality of art, like all the debates. It really stems from there was not enough money in the till to do it. And to make it even worse, he spent that money, like he admitted on your show. He spent it to go to a con, like a very expensive. He bought $1,000 thing, but Marcel has a lot of good qualities. That was really hard to say. I'm not sure if I can. Marcel's weakest quality is his ability to speak about his stuff, like him, like one-on-one.
I think he has a speech impediment.
Yeah.
But like what Marcel did, I will say this: at the time when he said, like, I spent the money for this, I was like, how could he? And like, kind of looking back, like now, like as someone who, you know, you run a project and then you go, okay, I'm going to invest some money from this project to take from this, but then that money is going to pay. And that's just cash. Like that's just in business. That's just cash flow. And investing back into new products and stuff. And as someone who's doing that right now, like I do understand it, but you've got to be smart. You can't like just pull money from here and go, okay, now, like, you got to figure out, okay, if you're going to pull money from that campaign to invest in something else, you better figure out a way to get that money back in to that product. And the problem was with Dog Days is it was kind of weird. It was like, not only did he decide not to, but he kind of, I think if you weren't that project would just die.
Yeah, it would have absolutely, because we've seen other ones similar.
Yes, that just disappeared.
That kind of stuff because he has like 6 bad projects that have been in situations like this. Not the same; they're all different. You know, from Greg. The only one I'll put on name is just because he named it all the time is Greg Elise's Gentleman. Right, that had a whole bunch of problems. Issue 2 had a lot of problems. You know, he's wanted it back forever. The rest of them, there's others, but I'm not going to put all of them on, because I don't talk about it on the regular. But
one thing you said real quick is you like the creators, like, I want it back and I want my rights back. And that's something I don't think a lot of creators realize when you sign up with a publisher. Not all publishers do this. Like Antarctic Press doesn't do this, but like typically when you sign with a publisher, you're giving them the rights to the book.
Yeah.
And like, if you decide, oh, I kind of want to do this now, if you sign on with the publisher and they own that book for like 5 years, like, you don't get to just, oh, I want to do this. You're under contract. And they can do whatever they want. And they could be dicks and be like, even though I'm not doing anything with it, I'm not giving you back. The publisher I worked with, in the contract, it was as long as we have 1 copy in our warehouse to sell, we own your book.
That is wild.
Isn't that wild? So like, there would be times where we would run out of inventory because we sold the books at like for $1. You know, because it's a shitty book. We sold all for $1, and my boss is like, "Sweet, do a print run of 2, just so I have it."
Right.
And I'm like, "Dang, maybe you just like give it back so I don't have to market this shitty book ever again."
Right.
And he's like, "No, he goes, he's like, you never want to lose IP." I'm like, "Yeah, but like, this book's shit. That's why we sold the last 100 for $1." And he's like, "Keep it." So like, we'd put a print run for 1. When the author's like, "Hey, like, I got a royalty check. Like, you guys sold all my books." Like, "Yeah, we still got 1. Sorry." But that's something that happens. And like, yeah, when that creator is like, "Oh, I want my book back from Marcel," Marcel can be like, no. And even with Dog Days, like, you fought so hard. Like, guys, Travis, you won't believe this. This was Travis. Travis is like on like Facebook Live. "Marcel, if you don't give me Dog Days," and it was like, it was intense.
It was weekly. Like, he would make a promise, and when he did not inevitably commit to that promise, I would go back on live, and he did not believe I would. He thought that I would just stop, and I didn't, because at that time I really felt in my heart that every backer, because I didn't know how Kickstarter worked, right? So my second Kickstarter was a little bit less than the second, which is common. It's a common thing. But I was just like, oh, clearly Marcel's ruined my reputation. I'm never going to get anything, right? And in this money, like, I wanted to do right by the people. In fact, I don't know if you know this, but Heather and I, put together our money and literally offered him the same amount that was on the Kickstarter. So we offered him
just give us the book.
To give us a book, and we agreed to fulfill.
Wow.
We offered to give him the exact, so it was like, I will give you this amount of money. This is exactly what's on the Kickstarter. So you will make double what the Kickstarter stuff, and I will fulfill. But I had angered him so much
that he was like, no.
That he was just not.
What was crazy is
math. I just want to say this. I did the math. Though it was $5,000, that's $5,000 for a
The graphic novel.
a 5 miniseries. I can cut that up, do it one at a time, sell it to a publisher. Like I saw that as an investment, stuff. But yeah.
What's crazy about that situation as well was the fact that when Marcel would talk about it, he'd be like, I don't know why this guy keeps like doing all this public shit. He kept it was like the book didn't make any money. The book didn't make enough money. And it's like, that's not my problem as a customer.
Right.
Okay, that sucks that you had a goal. You put the goal.
Right.
Like you put the low goal. If you needed 10 grand, but you put 5, that's not my fault. You still owe me a book. And I thought that was a wild answer. He was like, well, the book didn't make enough money. I'm like, cool. I need my book. That sucks.
They didn't want to do that either.
Dude, like Cthulhu Murders, I just did the math. I'm probably out $1,000.
Right.
And like, can you imagine if I was like, yeah, you guys aren't really getting your books because it didn't make enough money. It's like I was the one who put the goal. I was the one who didn't hype it up enough, or but it's like, it doesn't mean that I am not accountable for getting the book to people, but also like thinking now, and I don't know what Marcel wasn't thinking, like finish the book, you can recoup those costs.
Right. And he does nothing with it. And in fact, he did a really bad job. Like the editing needed to be done, things that, weren't part of my contract. And I wish were done because I really wish it was better, though that part of the book, I wish better editing, and stuff like that.
Brian, I love you, man. Yeah, but that was a kind of crazy.
I didn't want to come on so bad. I was confused by the whole thing.
Oh, no, this is.
Come on.
I wasn't reading this. I wasn't reading the chat very well. Okay. But that's like that. But these are like early day stuff. Like these are like stuff that we had. Like we didn't.
And I have no issues with Marcel, by the way. He did I had issues at the time, but he fulfilled what he was supposed to do. Like,
yeah.
What I can't.
It's done.
I cannot. And some people do. Some people hold the grudge after. Like I don't. He came out with
the saga's done.
And Marcel's in his own stuff. He hasn't published books, and has it been a year? It feels like it's been almost a year.
It's been a while, but he's been fulfilling books. Okay. He's been fulfilling books. I think I got one, and he's been throwing like extras in as like I'm sorry, which is like kind of smart because I go, oh, this one kind of looks good, but like then I go, but will I get the next one?
Right. I mean, he's dug himself in this hole, and it wasn't just me. I was the one pointing it out, but it wasn't just me that this was happening.
It was a huge saga. I mean, you remember Rob Anderson? Like he had a whole page about it. Dude, there's like all these cats that like
actually here, let's do a confession time. I wrote that article.
Really? And you put it on Rob Anderson's site?
Yeah, I let Rob do it.
Oh, there you go. This is just as old. It's just all this like I forget like how long we've been doing this. 8 years.
Yeah, and again, the goal of this is not to like start drama or reignite drama or anything like that. It's just talking about like these things of stuff. And I was just talking to someone today, like there is people I am positive that will never back me because of the way I called out Marcel. They won't. Yeah. Regardless of how well or how justified or how righteous I was. Same thing with you in that one stream that you did about Liana Kangas. There's people who will never, ever, ever like you, ever.
Because of that, yeah.
And you're not trying to, like, I think you were trying to offend, but you're like, this will never happen. They'll never see, right?
Yeah. Well, I think that's something that I have kind of learned this year and kind of accepted my quote unquote sins. Right. I've been watching Yellowstone, so I just feel like a man. And he's just like, I don't regret any of the sins that I've committed. And I think for me, I think I was just naive. Like with that Liana Kangas video, it was just like, it was like, no one's gonna see this. And then you were like, Tyler, people saw it. And I was like,
well, I would argue I didn't know. It was so funny because I was like, oh, I don't know who this person is. So I looked him up. I was like, oh, that person like lives here. Like they used to live in my town. And I was like, oh, they're pretty popular. Oh, oh, and then I saw your comments and like the day after, and like I was like, oh, Tyler's not.
Yeah. I mean,
I was like, oh, I think his art is good. Like I think I was like,
nah, dude, no. The book that I roasted, that book was shit. She's a great artist, great colorist. I was just like, and to be fair, it was a super indie publisher. So
I
like,
think it's they them, just to clarify.
Oh, they. Okay, they.
That's fine. Continue, sorry.
They suck, and their art sucked on that book. Like I've seen them. I follow them on TikTok, and I'm like, and obviously it was like 6 years ago, so I'm like, obviously their art looks way better and their colors are great. But looking back on it, like if someone had made a video like that about myself, I'd feel like shit. Yeah. And so like and that's something that like what we're talking about this because we're talking about our experiences like this was like young decisions. Like young Tyler thought this is what I should do to get views to then grow myself is I should put someone down. And looking back on it, I'm like, if someone did a video like that about me, like I'd be like, wow, like what a like that wasn't very nice. Right. And I hate that people are like, well, Tyler, you used to do drama stuff. I'm like, yeah, I did, and I kind of wish I didn't. Like don't get me wrong, like I think there were some times where I think there were some moments like that was uncalled for. What I did to Leanna, what the video I did made about Leanna Kangas. I think the drama that you had with Marcel is you fighting for your backers, your reputation. And I think like now where I'm at right now, where we're at is I think you and I now know when to swing and when to pull back.
Right.
And I think at the time I would just swing at air hoping I'd get something and going, oh, if I swing here, it's not going to do anything. Realizing, no, there is another person on the other side of the screen who watched that and they're like, wow, that fucking sucked. Right. That guy made this video saying I just, even though the book did suck, Leanna, but still. Like,
well, I remember recently I sent you, recently, like, in the I sent you, you're like, this is awesome. Who did this? And I was like, you're not going to like it. Who? You're like, damn it.
Yeah, and she's she's improved, and that's the thing. Like, if someone were to be like find an old comic that I made, like Tyler sucked, to be like, well, I'm improving or I'm learning, I'm getting better, and same with her. She's on her artist journey. I'm on my artist journey. Who am I? And so, yeah, I think that's something I've learned is like I swung a little too much for my own self gratification. Not thinking that I'd hurt someone on the other side. And now I've learned, okay, like come in swinging when you need to. And I think like with your thing with Marcel, like that was you needed to come swing. Your reputation, you were new in the scene, reputation. This is a graphic novel, but also like customers give him money for a book. And you were like, they deserve it. Like, that's a good tact.
And that book wouldn't have came out if I didn't. I don't think
100%. 100%. So yeah, I think, the lesson there is to learn when to swing and when to not.
I think I learned from that. That's a great segue into Voodoo Nations. That's a great segue.
Yeah. So then with Voodoo Nations, man, I'm just like thinking. Do you remember? All right, before the thing with the Indie Vault, what was like that group of people, and then who's the guy with like the raccoon hat? Varian. Like before like the fake book, the fake warehouse, fake book.
Right, before the Spencers.
Before the Spencer. Dude, before the Spencer.
I would never fall for that, I'm positive.
Before the Spencer's drama saga, they also started another company before that with like Rob Anderson. What was that?
Continuum, I think.
Something Inium.
Oh no, Continuum was, I think, the replacement of it. There was something, and Chuck named it actually, and I was invited in that. I said no.
Yeah. So like they had a group. So like after Marcel thing, you have this like kind of class of creators that like you're now always talking with and communicating.
Right. I was with Luke Stone. I was with Varian. I was talking
like that. Yeah, that crew
was a big deal. Like in the place you go on, a channel you go on to.
Yeah, like because Indie Vault was always going on, and they're always like great guys. Him, right. Randy, Luke Stone, and Eric Hodson. I'm still friends with Eric Hodson.
Right.
And so, and there, you know, it's just like you see all these people and you're like, okay, how can we collab? And you know, I mean, no offense to that group, but like they made like 3 failed companies, and then one of them ended up getting like hugely taken. They all got taken advantage for, but that's we're not really part of it, so we don't really have to discuss that.
Right. That is not the drama that we're here to discuss.
Yeah, but you teamed up with Luke Stone for a book, and it's like, yeah, duh, like you got 2 guys, both Christian. He's an artist, you're a writer, and then you're making this book. And during this time, it's kind of like the height of like, not the height, because I think it's like hit an all new high this year, but like you're now seeing like a massive divide on, are you comic skate or are you not? Yeah. And at this point is, if you wear the Terraform. Terraform. Yeah. And at this point,
the landscape of comics.
Yeah. Dude, I remember talking with Rob Anderson and being like, so like, what do you do? And he'd explain it to me using all these big words. I'm like, you know, like he's Steve Jobs, like, we're going to open the waves. I'm like, dude, none of this makes sense. What do you guys actually do? But it was at this time, it was like, if you had the comic skate flag going, like, it was very much like, purity testing, like, are you comic skate or are you not? And if you were going to be on a comic skate stream, people were like, are you comic skate? How comic skate are you? And it was also the time where if you were comic skate, people who were anti comic skate were like, get away from me, you're losing this opportunity. I don't want to be involved with you, because that means that I associate with X, Y, and Z, and I don't. And at the time, you guys were making Voodoo Nations, and then out of nowhere, Luke Stone just posts, I am comic skate. Always been comic skate. These are my reasons. And like, keep in mind, what was kind of crazy for me back then was I never flew. You will not be able to find one tweet where I ever do comics, like hashtag comic skate.
And even I have that, you know, if you're
you'll never see where I'm like, yeah, comic skate. But man, I swam in every circles. I was bulletproof. So Luke does that, and now you in the middle of the campaign, and now you were kind of just forced in this situation of like, oh shit, like, I am not comic skate. I don't like comic skate or the stuff. And now I'm dealing with, now I've got a book that is co-owned by someone. And now we have we're like, it's not just like, oh, I'm this. It's like there's a line drawn in the sand online. And even though it's like, this is stupid, this, like, a lot of people think that there's not real world consequences with digital stuff. There absolutely is. They're like opportunities, networking. For us, we'll talk about it later, is, you know, publishing, you know, working with a publisher, what happens. And so like, you had to deal with now a creator who basically joined a group that could impede you. It's kind of like, well, if he's comic skate, what are you, Travis? Like, you housing this guy? And then you had to deal with, you know, I guess, what did you have to deal with? Well, did you have to deal with anything?
I did a lot. Well, and it goes both ways, right? So back then, flashing that hashtag could get you $3,000 to $5,000 on your Indiegogo.
Yeah. Cause dude, you put comic skate back then in Indiegogo, and people were like, fuck it. Like, cause everyone had pandemic money, and
it was before the pandemic. It was before.
Yeah, okay. Well, Trump was Trump was giving us a good economy. We all had money. Thanks, Donald Trump. I love you. A lot of money. Too much money. But no, it's true. Like, you saw first time creators doing like 5 figures on Indiegogo, and you're like, and dude, most of those books never came out, but still
hashtag.
But still, you put that hashtag. It was a big. I think
it's whatever than a nudie cover now. It was the same thing, just it's the other. Like, add that nudie cover. It's gonna give you
because you also did. You at one point just jokingly did the hashtag comic skate thing.
wasn't jokingly. I did it unbeknownst. I didn't know what it meant at the time when I did it. We'll get into a little bit, but I didn't fully grasp it, and I didn't. I tried to be inclusive. Like, I tried to be like, all right, well, I don't like EVS, but like, there's a couple of guys who just
there's some cool cats. Yeah.
Right. So I was trying. I didn't realize, again, the ramifications of me at the time of how bad it could be, because it definitely circled, and it still is. Every day you can search Comicsgate as a hate group, and it is labeled and explained in what it is. But again, this is one of the examples of where experience helps you. We lost backers. A lot of people had no interest in the book anymore. We did gain some backers from it too. I wouldn't say as many as we lost, but we gained a couple, in that. And it made it awkward because I was like, what's going on? I'm only here to annoy how it's been so long.
What's up, Matt? But
crazy stuff tonight. So,
but it was But you were. I remember you messaging me like, dude, how do I like navigate this? What happened with your relationship with Luke?
I mean, it changed drastically. It went from like we talked every day to like now we're in a business. It changed, and I explained to him that I was upset about it. But I didn't cancel. Like, I didn't like count him off the book. I made that decision. Like, I led by example. I was just like, all right, that's where it is. I was like,
you had someone with different differences work with you,
right? And that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna have to navigate this together and figure it out, because that is tough. And again, even now, I will occasionally get in fights with EVS on the internet. Like, that'll happen. Like, because
Travis is like, I don't know if people like know that I'm anti-Comicsgate, so let me just pick a fight with Ethan just to remind everyone.
Just to remind people periodically.
Hey, everyone, you see this shit? I'm on your side.
Right.
Travis's monthly fight just to keep his guys, I'm safe. His cred. But I will say though, like, having like, as someone who's worked with you, I think it would have been nice for Luke to maybe, because he understood what it meant. I think it would have been nice for him to like giving you a heads up.
Or wait.
Did he do that?
Because it was like 4 days at the end of the campaign. Maybe wait 4 days, please.
Wait till it ends. Wait till it ends. Yeah. Like, did he like tell you like beforehand, like, I'm gonna make this tweet?
No, it just happened. It just happened one day. And I can't speak for his motives, but I was scared about it, because the other thing that was happening at that time, it still happens today. Let's say in an alternative world, I fired Luke. Luke could leverage that.
My gosh. That would have been because he had his book Hybrids.
Right. Yeah,
and that, like, as someone who knows about leveraging a cancellation.
Right.
But like, you would have, like, if you had taken Luke off that book and done it like that, I mean, if anything, like, I remember, so guys, when I got canceled and I decided to walk away from Coins of Judas, I had already planned the day like that, on that day, to launch Super Plumber Sisters, and Travis calls me, he's like, dude, are you gonna use this to like leverage your launch? I was like, yes, yeah, I am. And you're like, like, that's a tactic that people do, and I think you kind of understood that, like, one, it's better to show that you can work with people you have differences. Like, that's a brownie point for you, right? Because it's all about, like, a lot of times it's like, how can I self-preserve myself? So, like, that looks good, because all around, being able to say I can work with all kinds of people, like, that's just good. That's just being a good human. But you're right. Had you canceled Luke off of your book and made that a big deal, oh my gosh, you could have 10x that for like the next several months. It would be a forever narrative.
Yeah, and it would have been a forever narrative. It would have been continued. I was canceled this one time, which is not what happened. So we work on a second book. We did the second one. And again, now I'm tainted on this book. This book, as I've shared, can you bring it up again?
Yeah, I'm bringing it up right now.
Just to show a couple things, just to scroll down a little bit.
Real quick, I'm just going to answer this question. Eloy says, John Tark, you finished with Volume 4 Megafist and the Isekai book. The Isekai book has 2 more pages left of line art. I was waiting for everyone to send in photos so that I could do a draw me in. And then after that, I have 3 more pages to Greytone, and then that book is finished. So I should have that book done in like 2-3 weeks. Also, chapter 2 of the book is 80% completed. So like when we launch, so like we're super ahead. And then Girl with the Megafist, volume 4. I am not doing any more Kickstarter. Like I'm doing this stream because Travis and I, we wanted to do this for a while, like have a heart to heart. But I haven't been streaming for like last 2 weeks because I've been drawing Girl with the Megafist. I'm not going to launch any new Kickstarters until I have that book finished because it is late, which is on me. And so, yeah, I am not, I've like told I need to kickstart books. Like I've got like 3 books that are finished that I can just I could hit launch and be like, I'm ready to go. And I've told myself, Tyler, you do not get to have this reward until you get this book out. So unfortunately, like that's like, it sucks for me because I could really use like the money to like push out some more books, but, that's a punishment that I've given myself. But yeah, I'm still working on Girl with the Megafist volume 4. But yeah, sorry. So Voodoo Nations, yes. How many issues did he do, by the way? Issue 2. 1 and 2. Okay. 2.
We're in the timeline that we're talking about. We're at issue 2. Scroll down just a little bit, just because I want to show. People may not know, my wife is a redhead. She dyes her hair red. I love it. Not to get too religious. I was going through some stuff, and I literally prayed for a redhead with tattoos. And that I
got it. Jeez.
And I found it, right.
So specific. Guys, go find some Jesus in your life. You'll get what you want.
Right. So for this particular situation, and by the way, I love the way Luke Stone draws Bishop Lucas. He's my favorite artist for Bishop Lucas. So I love his art. These are the new guy. The top 2 are Luke. So because he came in. That's Luke, and then that's Luke. Yeah. And then the covers, I think issue 2 cover. Anyways, so the reason why I say this is this book is super personal to me. So I shared all the thing. It's about 2 missionaries who go to Brazil. They meet up with evil voodoo priest, kind of mess up their marriage, mess up their world. Well, the real life story is when my wife and I were dating, and when I decided I wanted to marry her, we went to New Orleans, but my mother had died, and my mind was crazy. I had lost my mind. I was a different person temporarily because I was grieving and I didn't know what to do. And it made this book is super personal to me. And now because of the Comicsgate taint on it, like in the way I feel about Comicsgate, like I was devastated and hated this book. Hated this book.
And there's nothing worse than hating a book that you
right, which we're going to talk about after.
So, man, we're so good with our segues.
Right. So we got to this point. Luke did the 2nd issue. During that, like I had always done, called out EVS because he said never trust women ever. They're all lying pieces of garbage. He's said very similar things in the past. He says things like that. And I called him out. I have a daughter. I have a wife. I have 2 daughters. I have a wife. I was going to call that out. Yes, this book is very good. If you please back it. Please try it out. I'm very proud of it. And it's actually it took a lot. It took till this issue to really be in love with it again.
Is this finished?
So issue 4 was supposed to be the last issue, but I added another issue because I really wanted to tell a better ending.
Okay, so it'll be a 5-issue story.
Yeah, it's a 5-issue story, and that's it. We're done. We're doing it. We're a little under what we normally do because normally we're in like 270s of stuff. 270 backers. We're normally pretty high, close to 6,000. It's getting a little under, but we did miss a year. So I did. Last year should have been an issue. We didn't do it. And the economy on Kickstarter is different. And
also I think trajectory though. I mean, like each series, like you're gonna go like the 4th one. At this point, you have like these are like the diehard. Like I want this.
Yeah. I think we'll get some people back when we get to the trade and all that. So, and I still love the stuff. But so Luke decided, hey, I can't do this. You're too hateful. I have to quit. He didn't say I'm too hateful, but that was basically.
It's just like, listen, I'm going this path. You're going this path.
Here's what he really said. So he said, your opinions on Comicsgate and stuff affects his business. Not that
you're like your opinions affect my business.
So we were in a bad situation. We signed the split. We were gonna make a big announcement about it, but that's when he went into the hospital. Like
damn that coma.
We signed it, and then he went into the coma. I paid him. In fact, right before the coma, he messaged me and it's like, "Hey, I never got that payment." And I was like, "Dude, I sent that payment right after that meeting." He was so sick in the hospital that he never checked his PayPal. Like I paid him immediately. What we agreed on, because he was like, "Can you buy me out?" I was like, "Sure, I'll buy you out." No big deal, because I'd rather own it and be able to do my own thing. I'm so proud that we put together. I think that first issue is something I'm super proud of putting it together. We got to this point where we had to split, and like putting this book has been hard, and this is my own publication. So even though there's no outside drama except for that I create, it's became a painful book to me. Trying to figure it out. Oh, what we got here?
We got $5 from Drew Duvall. Thanks so much. Is that why my cousin separates the crowdfunders from regular indies? Because without platforms like Kickstarters, most crowdfunding books wouldn't exist. No, dude. I think it just depends. I think there's a couple sides of indies. I think you have the indie crowdfunders. I think you have the writers who will then pitch with like the writers who will work with like publishers and like get some deals with like some artists. And then I think you have then the rest of the people are writer artists who is just these solo guys who can make their own book, put it on Webtoon, and they don't necessarily need crowdfunding, but they're just able to make a comic.
We're gonna say some stuff that you and I've said privately. I'm gonna say it. Ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
I think you and I agree that most people who aren't in this will last 5 years.
Oh yeah.
Because their campaigns are going to grow lower and lower. They're going to get less and less funding as they go, and they're going to get frustrated. They're going to quit.
Dude, I think I'm gonna like. I think I've got like a couple more good years.
Yeah, you think you're on the way out?
I think I've got a couple like good years left on Kickstarter before I like hit that. Like I had a good run.
I had a good run. But I think that to his point, if Kickstarter didn't exist and we had to just hustle it at cons, paying con prices that are like $600 a table now, and trying to sell, you'd be out in a year and a half.
Yeah, Kickstarter's really allowed people to. I think it allows them to make their comic, and then they get that money, and then they get the taste of, oh, I want to do more, and it kind of like prolongs people who they didn't plan on being in this. They stay a little longer than what they expected, and then it goes down, and we go, oh, like this happened. Like I think you and I know several creators who have been with us at the beginning, and then all of a sudden like they're just like, I can't do this anymore. Like I'm out. And then that's just part of it. Some people like can stick around. It's like we were talking. I think we were talking about this at the beginning. Like it's all about self-preservation. Like what can you do to stick around? And like for me, I'm like, I'm almost trying to figure out like what's like the lowest I can do on a crowdfund to be able to keep going. And to me, I'm like, if I can just get to like that trade, then even if the book does absolutely like low numbers, which by the way, guys, low numbers on Kickstarter is relative, since 70% of people are going to be in the 1 to 10,000 range. So like that's just where you're going to be. Like that's just how it is. I think Kickstarter is its own ecosystem of just people. So I think like for me, I'm like, okay, can I just make enough money that I cover my costs, hopefully pay for the next issue, get a trade, and then once I get that trade, I can sell that forever. I can sell that trade forever. I can sell it on Amazon, my store, digitally. I can do whatever I want, but can I just get to a completed story? Like I'm kind of like killing myself right now with doing Girl with the Mega Fist, because I'm like, great. I have a fan base for that book, and I'm kind of like, man, like I'm finishing a volume 4, and it's kind of just opening up. I'm now like ending it, but I'm also opening up like the next arc. I'm like, how much longer do I want to do this series? And like, technically, I still have lots to tell. I'm like, do I want to do other stuff? That's why, like with Bull Assassin, I'm like 5 issues. Super Plumber Sisters, 4 issues. Like I'm trying to tell these smaller stories so I can do other to like keep myself in the game a little longer.
Well, and I don't think you're gonna. You may quit crowdfunding, but I don't think you'll quit making comics.
No. I'll never quit making comics. I think I'll quit crowdfunding.
Your kid, creating little things. You've showed your pictures.
Yeah.
I don't think you're ever going to do that.
Because crowdfunding is a mental game.
Yeah. I think you have been waiting for the next thing to move on. It just hasn't got there, right? And you lead your line on digital. I'm going to go Web2, and so you're like, that shit's slow. Like I can't do that.
I'm still, by the way, like I still am going to do digital. If like my strategy is like little Super Plumber Sisters. Okay, do the 4 issues. Do the trade, and for the trade, I'm hoping to, maybe I'll be able to do a colored edition. That'd be really cool. Let that go for like a year or two. Dump it on Webtoons, right. and maybe to me, it's an inferior reading experience. But like, let's say I get 100 people to read it, and 3 of them who didn't even know it existed, buy it. I'm like, that's a win.
Right.
Or I can go to cons or sell it. Tim Lim, what's up, Tim? I was friends with the creator who I thought was of the ideology that money doesn't matter. It's the book. Then he calls me and tells me he's rejoining a movement because he wants the money.
That has happened. That happens a lot. It used to happen a lot more. Actually, that mentality's kind of gone away. Because you and I both knew people who were like, I'm joining Comicsgate 100% because I can get faster money. Like there was people who've told me that.
I don't know if Tim. Maybe Tim and I have the same friend who said that. I think it's the same person because I remember being like, "Don't do it." I'm like, "Don't do it." Like this is that's a short term gain. You might get it, but like long term, your self brand will win. And then they did it, and then when they left and they put out something, it just went. Nothing happened for them.
But I don't think you can go back.
I don't think I think it depends.
Go CG and then come back like full hardcore CG.
I think if they go full hardcore CG and then they leave, I don't think they're coming back in like immediately in terms of money. I think they have to rebuild. I think they have to start back from zero because those hardcore people, like they're not following you out. You've got to rebuild and build a new audience. And I think when you leave and you attempt to build that new audience, I think what happens is they leave, they think they're going to get people come back because they go, oh, they bought my book for me. They see the low number and then they go, it's like, maybe they were doing 10,000 and then they leave and now their book does 1,000. Now they're like, frick, that sucks. No one followed me. And it's either, do you spend the next 3 to 4 years rebuilding what you've just lost, or do you just leave? And I think most of them just go, I'm leaving. Yeah. This is an expensive hobby.
Right. Yeah. We're done with Voodoo. We've got to Voodoo. Like I said, I've rekindled my love, but even like everything that happens with it, Tyler, like I'm so frustrated with the book. I had a colorist who wasn't happy with the color, or he deleted stuff. Have you ever had stupid people just delete things in your folder? Like, why are you deleting things in my folder? You uploaded it. There's no reason to delete it, but they don't know how the internet works. Like, so they see it, they think they're going to save up space, and you're like, you've uploaded it. Like, ignore it. You don't go away.
Don't touch it.
So we've had that experience on Voodoo. Again, not a big deal. That's happened on other books as well. It's just a thing. Every little thing makes me so frustrated, and it's sad because I look forward to having that trade and writing that dedication to my wife. Like, this is to my wife, and I'm like, I want to get that to her so fast.
You got to do the dedication, and then at the end of the book, you also need to have like a dear reader. Like, this is all the shit that I went through to get this book.
Yeah, maybe a back to get to this. It's cursed. Yeah. It feels like it's cursed, and it's about voodoo. So maybe
it's a name. Yeah. Maybe God's like, hey, you should stop making this book.
And again, I want to clarify for all these things. Like, again, I have no issues with Luke Stone. Like, he took his money, he left. We have stuff. Obviously, there's little jabs sometimes on the internet, but whatever. It is what it is. Those things happen. And something that I don't think they happen on purpose. It's just like Tyler. We got into Marcel. Marcel was never part of the plan. It got up and all right, let's talk about Marcel. I think that happens to Luke. And
yes,
Marcel.
I mean sometimes I think, and then. The mature thing is if you were to hear it, and this was like, I'll admit, like, this is what I would do back in the day, is I listen to a stream, they go, oh, well, Tyler says this, and I go, oh, crap, now do I got to respond? Do I like they said my name for 2 seconds? Now do I got to clip this to go like, well, this is what these like just go, yeah, they talked about me for like 2 seconds and like they moved on, or just people have differences of opinions or things just happen. Yeah. that's good. It's sad that this book has been such a nightmare to make, but it's good that you've fallen back in love with it, or at least you do have some love for it.
Yeah, I want to tell it. I want it done. I want to shelve it, just like you. I want that trade because I think it's a good story. And that's not. We're not even counting the other stuff. Obviously, a white guy writing Voodoo. I've had members of the Black community go, "Hey, you probably shouldn't write about Voodoo," just so you know. And I'm like, "But I want to, and I respected the culture and this and that. I respect that." So there's stuff. In fact, what is that comic? There's one of what is it? Cryptic? No, Combagetti. They one time posted. He's like, it's Kickstarter season when a bunch of white guys are writing about Voodoo, and there's like 6 white guys.
Is there? Right? Well, I don't like Comic Yeti because they blocked me for no reason, and I don't like them.
Oh, fair enough.
But
you and great stuff. We're gonna attack chefs.
All right, let's attack chefs. Young, like this was like 5 years ago. So yeah, let's talk chefs. Probably like 4 years.
I think it's less than 5 years ago. I think it's more like 3. But
it's probably 3. Dude, I was talking with someone. So I was at someone's house, and I was like, "So what do you do?" I was like, "What do you do with your life?" And they go, "Oh, I play Yu-Gi-Oh!" And I went, "Okay." That wasn't really my question. And I was like, what do you do with your life? He goes, no, I play Yu-Gi-Oh! I'm like, okay. And he's like, I'm going to the world championship. Like I'm that good. I'm like, oh, wow. Like, I'm like, tell me about your life. I was like, when did you get into it? He goes, oh, I loved watching the TV shows growing up. I was like, oh, me too. And then he's like, yeah, like when I was a kid watching 5DS, and I was like, wait, hold on. That show came out like when I was in high school. How old are you? He's like, oh, I'm 20. And I'm like, fuck, dude, I'm 30. I was like, I'm not 25 anymore. I think I am, but I'm not. Yeah, I think Chefs was like 3 years ago. I think it was 2019.
So yeah, so let's go into Chefs, and I'm going to tell you my perspective from the outside. So
yeah,
Chefs,
do it.
You created, you launched, you were excited about it. You did lots of. So I'm on your Patreon, so forever you were talking about it, like creating these characters, hyped about designing it, Though there is performance Tyler, and I don't think I knew it at the time that there was like Tyler who's saying things doesn't necessarily mean he feels those things, when it's posted on the internet. Like you can trust everything he says, but internet Tyler maybe not so much.
Yeah, like Patreon, like behind a paywall, that's where you get the real me. Like join my OnlyFans, you'll see me cry, like. I'll post on Twitter, I love freaking making comics, and like literally 5 minutes later on Patreon, like I'm
struggling. By the way, I saw Mrs. H, like the actual person. They actually posted a picture of themselves on the internet this week, and I was like,
Mrs. H is like super beautiful mom, dude. Yeah, Mrs. H sent me a video to help my kid. She custom made a Bluey video to help my kid potty train.
That's nice.
Mrs. H is a G.
I like Mrs. H. We don't have the relationship that you have, but every time I see her, she's pleasant to be in the chat.
We love Mrs. H. But yeah, Chefs.
All right, so she's doing Chefs. This book had you a falling out with a
first time.
And a falling out a second time. It literally broke up a friendship because you canceled the Kickstarter. Like, apparently that's how passionate your fan base was.
That's how crazy. And by the way, everyone, like a lot of people, are like, he didn't have enough money to finish the book or get it printed. It's like, I have the book right here. I finished it.
You buy it on any Kickstarter in the add-ons. So you launched a Kickstarter, and it was doing well. So let's go here. It's got to be clipped, Tyler. It's got to be.
Do
clipped.
It.
Were you looking for that 10 grand? Did you drop it because you didn't hit the 10K?
So two things. I think this is young Tyler. So first off, that was a reason that I did tell some people like during while the campaign was like going, I was like, I kept saying, I really hope I get 10K. Like I was like, I really hope I get 10K. And that's it. It's possible because I don't remember, like 3 years ago. Like if that was a reason, if that was a real reason in my heart. Okay, so A story and B story. It's possible that the A story, which is like Batman and Robin go on adventures, and the B story is it's a story about a father and son and the relationship, the emotional stuff. So
whoa! You write comics that actually have arcs and actually have extra meaning besides its image?
I know, crazy, right?
Why are you on Kickstarter? That's not
so like if the A story potentially could be the 10K. Like I wanted it to I wanted to hit it, and which is very stupid. It's very naive and immature. And honestly, looking back on it, it did like almost 4K in 3 days. Who's to say it couldn't have done 10K after the end of the 30 days? It
would have done 7. I think
it would have done at least 7 or 8, and that's a great first volume.
Super acceptable.
Yeah, that's super great. Like most people won't ever hit that number. And then like if it was super well received, I'd do a volume 2, and it would have done, maybe better. So like, yeah, if it like there is probably some truth that like, yeah, I ended at that, but that's the A story. But the B story was, I hate this series. And I know I hate this series because last year I remade the series. I did a full 60-page volume, and when we were done with the book, I went, I fucking hate this book. And I haven't shown anyone it. And even like I've shown, I posted some pictures on Twitter of like some of the panels we were working on with the coloring. And every time I posted it, Chefs is back. This is amazing. Oh my gosh. Like this is so cool. And I honestly still believe that.
The apron was
I still have, like everyone's like, where's the battle apron? Like I still think I have $1 million property, and I fucking hate it. And I've even like legit thought I'm like, I gotta bring it back. I gotta bring it back because I'm just thinking of dollar signs. I'm like, like this is easy money, like not easy money per se, but it's like it's already a proven IP that people will back.
And remember, I offered you, if you send me the files, and you never have. I've offered to rewrite it. Remember?
And the day that I decide to like relaunch the series, I think I've told you, like, I'm not writing it. I will find a writer. And you'll probably be like one of them to like that I consider, because I know you, and you like, you know what I think it is? I think it's the fact that I don't have a love of superheroes like someone like you would.
Let me disagree.
Really?
You have a love of superheroes. I think that the superheroes that you love have that extra dark element or that extra story, that stuff that you don't have.
Yes.
And that I actually don't think on your writing, I don't think you try to add that. Like look at Girl with the Mega Fist. There is extra stuff there, but the action scenes are really great and stuff like that. That's you're not. I don't think that's your strong suit. I think it's just. And I'm not saying that. Trying to think about a way to articulate.
Offend me.
It's not offending. I've offended you tons of times. Like you get over it when you realize I'm right. I think like a Super Plumber Sisters, it's hard to tell a like extra story in there that does that, like a deep, meaningful story, right? Does it make sense?
Yeah. It's very the Super Plumber Sisters is pretty flat when it comes to like that. They're and like first and second issues are pretty flat, and then third and fourth I do have that emotional element. But you're right, like and like with Sexy Witch, like I guess I take a long time to get to the emotional element, but with Chefs, it's like this is a 60-page story that's a beginning, middle, and end. I'm used to telling very long form stories where
I know how to say this. I figured it out now, and especially based on your comments when we talked about Girl with the Mega Fest. When I gave you the advice, you are not constantly making sure you get that story on the page, like every panel, because when I write a book, I am stuck to a 20-page.
Yes, yeah.
So I need to make sure that that element's in every single issue because you do long and you prefer to do long storm storytelling.
Yeah.
I can space that out. And then sometimes because you're doing that, you miss the mark.
100
Like,
no. Like I told you this at before the end of the I told you that before we went live, I went, hey, I just sent out my Cthulhu Murders, and if someone said this book is a 0 out of 10, I'd be like, you're right, because I think I missed the mark. Because that's a 60-page story.
Right.
And I with Chefs, I think I even wrote it. I think I wrote it in my Patreon, in a Patreon post, probably even did a YouTube live. I really struggled doing a condensed story with a beginning, middle, and end, because I was like, I want to do a 20-page fight scene, and that's a whole issue. So like I can't do that. I want to drag. So like I struggle with condensed storytelling.
Right.
Like and that's something that I know I struggle with. I know that I'm not good at. I try to hide it by going, oh yeah, Super Plumber Sisters is only 4 issues. Yeah, but every book is 40 pages. Right. And so it's really a 160-page book. Whereas really it would be an 80-page book, and there's no way I would be able to do it. I would die. Whereas with Coins of Judas, you did the first arc in 2 issues. There's no way that,
which we both agreed should have been a 4 issue.
It should have been a 4 issue, but even then you were able to write it and still get it. And there's even like I wouldn't have been able to, 1, even execute that, and then 2. If it had been just me writing and drawing it, I wouldn't have been okay with it. Dude, like honestly, this is funny. The only reason why I backed that book, Red Rooster, was because I was like, oh, it's a 60-page book. I want to know how someone writes a 60-page story. That's literally the only reason why I bought Red Rooster, and then it took 5 years. Is that why you're angry about it? yeah, because it took 5 years, and by the time I got the book, I was like, well, I don't need to know this anymore.
Dude, I called him out once on the internet, and he went ballistic on me.
Oh yeah, dude.
He was just like, you as an indie creator should understand the trials and tribulations of what it was.
No, like, dude, Mitch is
shit, Mr. Red Rooster, I did not know you had so much passion for a guy who I don't even know your fucking name.
No, dude, Mitch Breitweiser needs to be like locked up in an asylum. We love his wife though, fantastic colorist, one of the best colorists in my opinion. But no, yeah, so I canceled Chefs because I was like, okay, if I it's already funded. If I make it to the end, I have to make a sequel, because this is just like everyone's going to want more, which means I have to do another condensed story. I don't like the condensed story I just did. Now I'm going to have to do more. I don't enjoy it. I don't enjoy the art. I want to do longer form storytelling. I was just kind of like, it didn't help that it was just, I learned about all these new marketing things, and then like I learned about webtoons, and I learned about digital stuff, and I was like, oh, I want to do this. I feel so restricted to this 60-page format. And I just was like, I had a super mental breakdown. And on top of the like, yeah, I didn't like, in my mind, if that was true, the whole like 10K thing, then, but also like I was just emotionally not invested in the series anymore. And I was like, if I have to make a second book, and I wrote like 14 different volumes for Chefs. I had a whole freaking series. At the end, they had like the god is freaking like Gordon Ramsay's face, and I had like it was gonna be so cool, and yet even thinking about it now, like okay, I'm gonna make the story. I'm like, oh gosh, I'm getting like goosebumps. Like I don't want to do it.
It's weird too. What's weird about that for me, knowing about your writing style and what you do, is you tend to like to write fun, right? You're always struggling with this noir detective because you want to write an Ed Brubaker.
I do so bad.
You struggle with it in the Cthulhu Murders because it's not fun, right?
It's so dark.
Fun. You try to make it, but like, what if I add,
dude? At the end of the book, I was like, oh, how do I tie this? And I was like, anime fight scene. There's literally just an anime fight scene at the end because I was like, they need to have powers. I was literally like, this is so.
Way to fix it, right? Not the way I fix problems, but you
anime fight scene
that completely tracks. And I think that's where you're at. So that's why Chefs is so interesting, because Chefs is literally designed to be fun.
So fun.
You cannot take that book seriously. Like
no.
You're not. This is not the next Avengers, right? Like
it's literally called Pasta La Vista,
right?
Like the arc. Like there's literally a panel where he's like, udon, because it's all about pasta. Udon messed up with this one, like udon noodles. So stupid. Like calcium blade slash. Like so. Like one of the Iron Man characters' name is Microwave.
Right.
So yeah, you're right. It's a book that's designed for fun, and yet I cannot wrap my head around this series, which is why I'm like, if I ever do it again, I'm confident that I have a good enough story, or at least when I say story, I have just like 3 sentences. Like this is volume 1.
Right.
I'm confident that I could give it to like a competent writer like yourself and be like, hey, can you make something out of this? Like here's the next 6 stories, do something.
Yeah, I think I'm going to give you an analogy. I think when I create things, right, I start at a sentence and then I build upon it to make it bigger. Right, so I start with Coins of Judas. Coins of Judas spawns demons, right? 36 pieces of reserve. All right, cool. Now I need orders. Now I need this and that. Where I think you do the opposite. I think you have this big, giant concept. You look at the marble, like the big marble, and then you carve it down to what you want.
Well, no, that's what happened with that. No, that's legit what happened. I have the old webcam right there, but this is the new one. I keep like, that's what happened with this. I literally had I had the big, and I was trying to like carve it down with Megafist. The reason why it's been able to do that one is it started off with just a girl with a big Megafist, and I went, oh. And then start building up Super Plumber Sisters. I went Super Plumber Sisters. Yeah. Build it. Bullet Assassin. Like I just had the name went Bullet Assassin. I went, no, living in a fantasy world. Build it. With Cthulhu Murders, it was that big thing. I have this big thing. Carve it with chefs. Carve it. And not like I'm still very proud of Cthulhu Murders. I really tried something different.
Sure.
You know, like I tried
it. I think it would have done better if it was in the gaming category. I think the comic people just didn't know what to
do. Which is fair. But yeah, I think with chefs, I think I have a great marble, I have a great world, and I have great stories and like how they all connect. I just think either because one, I'm just not invested anymore. Sure. Like I need someone. Actually, if anything, I wonder if it's just too overwhelming. Because I'm like, I don't like the Justice League. I don't like the Avengers. Because when I read those comics, I'm like, there's too many people. I can't keep track of it.
Sure.
So when I'm having chefs and it's a team book, I'm like, okay, who's the main character? Or am I giving this person a spotlight? That's why I'm like, like all my books right now, they have a singular character who we focus on. And maybe that's a problem with chefs is like, I have this team book and I don't know how to write it. I'm not at the skill level where I don't know how to write a team book, and it doesn't help that I also don't like reading team books.
Right.
So
yeah, they're really hard to write well. They're really hard.
Yeah. So it's like if I don't even enjoy reading it, and you're gonna learn a lot from comics just by reading them. But if I can't even read a team book and enjoy it, there's no way I'm gonna learn how to write a team book and do it properly.
Well, so yeah, there's a trick to it though. You want to know the trick?
What's the trick?
So you have them all fighting something, whatever the big thing is. And then you tell each individual story of how they got there. Then you back up to each individual story. Then you end it with the big fight of solving the problem. Right?
Like that movie Vantage
Point. You're basically telling, stuff.
But yeah, I canceled the book. I had like a lot of people invite me on
friendships, and like I think it affected your reputation. Like I think people thought less of you, which is
100%
weird because I'm like I gained more respect for you that day when you're like, I just don't want to do this book. Like that was like, this is an artist saying like, I'm not going to commit time to something that I don't have passion about.
I'm not going to give you a good product. Like that was what the promise was. Basically what I said, like, dude, like the last 3 pages of this book, like are awful, like are absolutely awful of this book because I just went, yeah, punch done. I was like, get me out of here. I want to finish book, but just get me out of here. And it was actually crazy. People go on podcasts and be like, dude, what the F are you doing? You just dropped $4,000. I'm like, it's not that I dropped $4,000. It's the fact that I didn't want to do this book anymore. And people like a lot of people lost respect for me, which was weird. Because I'm like,
it is weird.
Wouldn't you rather have me just not take your money? I had but then the worst part was like I had people speculate on why I did it. And I told people why. I was like, I don't have the heart for this series anymore. I hate it. And a lot of people are like, oh, he doesn't have enough money, blah, blah, blah. He'll never be able to do it. And like a lot, and then
you write and draw. That's never gonna.
yeah. I write and draw my books. Like money will never be the problem.
That's a problem for me. Like if I feel to it, it's fucking money, guys. I didn't have enough.
and then what was worse was, because of this, I was like, okay, I want to try some new things. I want to I want to branch out. I want to try out like this Patreon thing, and I want to try this out webtoon thing. And yeah, the webtoon, like I thought the audience, and you're learning. I thought the Kickstarter audience and comic audience was the same as the webtoon audience, and I learned they're not. Right. And I was like, oh, Kickstarter audience don't like, they want to pay for shit. They don't want to go on an app and read it for free. And like I had to learn that. And what was kind of sad was, like, I'm someone who will try new things out, and I don't think a lot of indie creators will. And the first like fallout I had with Larry was because like, one, he didn't like the whole 10K thing, and which is, like I said, if that was a reason that I gave, I don't remember. He has the screenshots, I don't remember them. But if I did say like, I'm canceling this book because it's 10K, like if that is a real screenshot, like that's completely like immature of me, and like that's very foolish of me. And if I could go back and say like, young Tyler, like that's a stupid reason, I'd be like, that's a stupid reason.
I would argue, even if he has that screenshot, that's the way Larry thinks.
And that's why I've told him. He goes, he still thinks that. And I go, dude, even if that's true, that's the A story. The B story still is that I hate this series. Right. Like I hate the series. I don't have passion for it. And so I think, and so like that, the fallout that I had with Larry was, that first time was, and I actually had a couple other fallouts besides Larry at the same time, because they were like, Tyler's doing this Patreon thing, webtoons, and then like he's like anti-Kickstarter, and I never said I was anti-Kickstarter. I was just like, is there another way I can build out hype for a book and then go to Kickstarter, which was why I did the Patreon.
And you started being anti-Kickstarter to begin with. You were Indiegogo all the way.
Well, I did my Kickstarter one, and then I went to Indiegogo, and then because I was swimming in that CG crowd for a bit, and then I was like, I hate this place. And then I did Kickstarter, and I was like, this is a good place. But yeah, I'm like always trying to do some different stuff, and other people will be like, oh, like he tried Patreon and it didn't work. It's like, okay, sometimes these things take time. Maybe like you do it and it doesn't work out, but then like maybe 4 or 5 years down the line, you finally figure out that thing that works. And then you see that bump. Like I followed this girl, her name is Sazel. For 10 years, she's been on Patreon. She's made barely $100. And like within the last year, she's now at 20 grand a month. Because she finally figured out the thing that would just skyrocket her. Yeah. But it took her 10 years. And so it was just sad that I had a falling out with like, not just Larry, but several other creators, because I wanted to try out these different things. So I left the indie community for like 3 or 4 months. And then I came back with the girl with the mega fist, and then was kind of like, I'm just going to do these anime videos, manga videos. And then someone was like, Tyler, you got to go back and doing live shows. I think it was Neff from Global Frequency. And I hate that he told me that, because then I started getting back into the indie community. But yeah. And
good night, Ms. H.
See you, Mrs. H. And so then I kind of had to rebuild my reputation, because there was actually a lot of people who were like, oh, that's the guy that canceled his Kickstarter.
Right.
And I was like,
it's so weird, but yeah.
And that was the thing that a lot of people remembered me about for like a year or two. It was like, oh yeah, he canceled his Kickstarter. Right. And it had funded in 3 hours. Like he can't, like that's the guy. He canceled it. And I'm like, yeah, I'm a man of integrity, right? Like I don't know. It was weird.
Offended by that ever since, really.
Yeah, you've taken it personally. You've made screenshots, and you're like trying to hold it out.
Here is your thing of tears of all your screens.
But because I'm like grateful that like I did that, because then I created Growth the Megafest, found a series that I actually like doing, and like then I was able to build up like a Kickstarter reputation because of that. And then at the same time, you started putting out even more titles. Like you did Broke Down for Dead Bodies forever. Yeah. Like, and then you started putting out some more titles.
Voodoo, Granite State, and like
yes, you did like Holiday Spirits, like your Cthulhu's was huge, and so we built up this like we were like, okay, like we can do shit by ourselves. Like we've done this. We can do shit by ourselves. And then I think one thing that for people to understand is like where our end journey is at. And like for Travis and you know, correct me if I'm wrong, like your end journey has always been like, how do I get to Marvel and DC?
Yeah.
Like that's your road. And my road, and it kind of stems from the fact that like what happened with Insane is like, how do I stay as indie as I can?
Right.
But there was an opportunity I always enjoy working with Travis. And Travis messages me one day and he's like, hey, do you want to do a 7-page story? And I always just say yes to Travis. Do you want to do a 2-page? Yes. Do you want to do? Yes. And so I just said yes. He turns in this script and then he goes, good news. He goes, bad news, good news. Bad news. They rejected our script. They rejected our pitch. Good news with this. Bad news. They rejected our 7-page pitch. Good news, they want to turn it into a series. And this was with Band of Bards, and it was with Coins of Judas. And I just said yes because I like working with Travis. And even in like the meeting with Band of Bards, like, Tyler, what do you think of it? I was like, I don't even know what the story is about.
It was so embarrassing.
It was like supposed to be this like professional business meeting. They're like, Tyler, what do you think of this story? I'm like, I don't know what it's about. I didn't read it yet. I just like Travis. Sounds good. And we worked on that book for like 4 or 5 months before anyone saw it, the first issues. Cause I remember drawing it on like my Christmas break and like vacation in like a hotel, like in an Airbnb.
And it was written with you in mind too, right? Like I wrote it to, I didn't like add super complex designs. I was like, I want a complex villain, but because I'm making you do a complex villain, you can do Blood Monster. So you you give me one, I'll give you one.
Well, yeah, I remember you had me draw a cover, and I just drew this big demon. And you're like, make a bigger demon. I drew a bigger demon. You're like, oh, we'll put it in the story somehow. So like in that third issue, they fight like a big demon, the Blood Monster, the main dude. All the goblins, but yeah, it was fun. And so we make Coins of Judas, and super fun book to make. Tons of variants. It does really well in stores. Mostly due to Travis hustling his ass off. Travis hustled his ass off to do that, and I think what helped was we had for the last 2 years built up reputations. And we were under contract with Band of Bards, and it was great. Everyone's happy, no complaints. And then going back to like the naivety though, I became naive again because of the good stuff. And I didn't sign that contract for issue 3 and 4. Right. I just was like, yeah, I'm having a great time. Let's just do it. Without signing the contract, which was bad on me, which is why I don't speak, which is why like fast forward real quick, guys. I made a tweet, got canceled. I left the book, but like everyone's like, how come you don't talk bad about Band of Bards? I'm like, I didn't sign a contract. Like that was on me. Like that was a poor decision on my part. I was just so excited. I did a cover. Luckily, Travis was able to get me paid for that.
Just for the record, it wasn't Band of Bards screwed us over or like withheld a contract. We just were so loving doing the book.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Getting it back out. We didn't push for the contract. We had set up meetings and they were months away.
We knew we were going to get the contract. We were just so eager to just like,
right. Why sit on? Why sit on? We had the verbal approval. So we just started moving.
Yeah. And like the team was already on a high for like the copies we were selling. So it was like, let's just get drawing. And like my schedule had opened up. So I was like, now's the time for me to draw this book. So I start drawing issue 3 of Coins of Judas, which is technically issue 1, The Gambler. And, I'm at my new job. Hashtag comics broke me happens. I open up my laptop, read a couple tweets, and I go, this is gay. Let me make my own tweet, as I do in typical Tyler fashion. Hey, grow up, do some business. And I put my laptop down and I went and I just did my own thing, went to a meeting, come back, open my laptop, and apparently I set the world on fire. And I was like, I didn't like that people thought that I had like bad intentions, so I doubled down, and then it got even more vile. So then I like doubled down even harder. And I will say, you look at those. I will say this: look at the hashtag Comics Broke Me tweets. You'll see a ton of vile things said about me, like hope he kills himself, loses his hand, blah blah. You'll see a ton of those. You'll only see like one insult from me, and it's because like this guy tried lying with my Kickstarter numbers. He's like, he's only done 1,000. I'm like, look at this one. Yeah, like go get lost, badass. Like that's the only insult that I did. But it like pros got into it. Massive parts of the indie community came out, and then you had some of the worst people start like going on my Facebook and go, he voted for Trump. He did this. He's a right winger. And so then they start digging up a bunch of like, and then someone was like, and he's okay with people selling his book to Nazis. So then you had, no offense, some of the like the most retarded people going, oh, he's okay with, he's a Nazi. And I'm like, really? This is where we took this. And so because of that, and then that's fine. I can deal with stupid people on the internet. What sucked, and then, by the way, guys, this is just from my point of view. Travis was fighting a war behind the scenes on his own shit with people I didn't even know existed. With, Jared, you were having to be like, yo, Jared, calm the fuck down. You were having to tell these other people, yo, calm the fuck down. Like, because creators and Band of Bards were like,
they were tagging me.
They were tagging Travis, like, this is your artist, this is your guy. And and Travis was like, I'm fighting my own battle over here, and Travis is like fighting his own, like, yo, chill, telling all these people to chill, and leave, like, this is Tyler, these are his opinions, like, are you really gonna try to cancel my book over this, like, because this hurts me, like, are you really trying to hurt me by hurting this guy? And like it blew up. It blew up to the point where like we had phone calls.
Yeah. I want to get a beverage because this gets dark and deep.
I'll read some chats.
Read some chats for a second.
Go get a beverage. Come on, Tyler. Don't you know the world's full of babies? A lot of crybabies. Too many crybabies. Gay crybabies. Stupid Trump voice. I wanted Agent P. She was hot, dude. I know, dude. Agent P. Freaking. I love that. I love that character. Bullet Assassin Tyler finally tackles his fear of goblins. True. If you know the lore, I read Goblin Slayer and I was like, what the F is this? Funnily enough, though, guys, if you guys didn't know, Tim Lim is a big fan of Goblin Slayer. That shocked me. He likes it. I didn't like it. I read enough of it to be like, okay, I'm good, but yeah.
So let's deal with some stuff.
Tyler, your Trump voice sounds like Shane Gillis. You missed it because I love Shane Gillis, by the way. I'm grateful that he went on SNL and brought back the words gay and retard back to the mainstream.
Did not be saying either of those for the record.
That's fine. Travis. I went. He says, "Come on, Tyler. Don't you know the world is full of babies?" I was like, "A lot of babies, too many babies, gay babies." But no. It got to the point where Travis and I had to get a phone call because there were Band of Bards creators who were actively like. There was one which. Of all people, damn, like, I'm sorry, I just want to say this. Anyone who wears fucking flip-flops in public, I get so angry. If you're not in Florida and you're a man wearing flip-flops, I get so angry. But yeah, dude, this, like, one of the perpetrators was this Dan guy in his fucking shit book. I'll say that. And he started tagging Band of Bards, started tagging Travis, and was super, super aggressive. Like, fuck you, Travis, for having this guy. Like, fuck you, Band of Bards. I can't believe I'm with this fucking guy and in the same publisher as this fucking guy. And I think, did Band of Bards call you first before they called me?
I think so. I mean, so let's back up a little bit, just to say some stuff for the record, because I don't want A couple people messaged me to cancel, to not cancel. Well, the people did message me to cancel you, but before that, they were just like, "Hey, maybe you should ask Tyler to calm down." And I want to make it clear to everyone that I chose not to do that. I could have, and Tyler said a long time ago that anything I ask, like he'll do it, like because he knows like what he does and versus what I do and the way he responds to things. He's aware, self-aware enough to be able to aware that something like this can happen. And I was self-aware that he is conservative leaning. I thought that was good because Band of Bards is an exclusive, is trying to be an inclusive company. I was like, this is great. And I also know that the two owners of Band of Bards are military guys. So they've been around a lot of conservatives. So I thought that they would get that a little bit.
And there was no problems like with all the meetings, like none of that stuff ever came up. They're just
no. And even when the stuff, they never wanted to get rid of kids, but they were under a lot of pressure and they're a new publisher and they were trying to figure things out. And they didn't want the bad stuff. And we'll go over that in a minute. But I want to make it clear that I actively chose not to tell Tyler to be quiet. I could have at any time, but I've seen Tyler. Tyler goes on these rants. He'll go on these things. He will then read and realize, like he privately told me, it got too big. But at some point, you found out what it was about, and you felt a little bit bad about it.
Yeah, because like when I got into it, I was like, oh, I didn't know it was about that. I was I was on level 4, like yeah.
Right. You're way up here fighting the world, and if someone would have said, "Hey, man, somebody died," you would be like, "Oh shit!" Like.
Which, by the way, it's still speculated.
Right. Let's talk about this tomorrow. Right. Or whatever the case may be. Yeah. Let me subtweet about it tomorrow. That's fine. I get tons of subtweets. But that was the case. So there was a lot of pressure to do that and to get you off the book. And Tyler and I had a very passionate comment, and it came down. And this again, talk about all the relationship that we've had. I helped him through the Larry stuff. There's a lot of things we talk about behind the scenes. He had Marcel on, so he knew the Marcel stuff. That caused kind of a riff in us. I wouldn't say a riff, but like, dude, whose side are you on? You have Marcel on your show.
Uh-huh.
I had to watch the show to see that you were still okay with me, but like at the time I was like, oh, but you were all about ratings at the time.
Which, by the way, that kind of shit does happen, by the way, in the indie comics world, where like you'll see someone talk to someone, you go, oh, what? Like,
right.
Are we not friends anymore? And sometimes you're either like, I just want to hear their perspective, or maybe it's like, hey, this is a good person to get on at the time, and that stuff can hurt sometimes.
Yeah. So all of those things, so we've had a long relationship of that. And we had a conversation, and my goal is to work for Marvel DC. I even have, I just called you the other day out of the blue and said, I have something that will make me get a little closer to that.
Yeah.
Dude, that is going to cost me money, but it will give me good cred. Do you think I should do it? Yeah, do it. It's just money, whatever. Because that's money. My goal. But
yes.
But that would be a complete waste of investment to you. That means nothing to you.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
You understand why I should do it, or why I feel I should do it, but that means nothing to you. That's no sense.
It's good, like when you're working with someone, when you're interacting with people in the creator community, like a lot of times we don't know what people's end goal is, and so then when we start fighting, you go, oh wait, you don't have the same end goal as I do, which makes sense, because then you go, a lot of times the creators are like, you should do this move, and if someone goes, I don't want to do that move, they go, well, you're stupid for not doing that move. When it's like, well, I'm not doing that move because I'm not trying to get here, I'm trying to get here. And I always knew with Travis that he wanted to do Marvel and DC stuff, and I'm never going to pursue that. If someone out of the blue goes, hi, do you want to ride Batman? I'd be like, yes, I'm ready. Let's go.
Sure.
But like, I'm not going to play the game of chess, which it is a game of chess, to do that.
To get that. Yeah.
To get to that. Like, so when we start getting all the phone calls and stuff, because I knew Travis's goal, I said, Travis, like, do what you need to do, man. Like, if you need to publicly like push me out or be like disavow, like,
yeah, I mean, you basically said if you need to cancel me, like you.
Yeah, I know. I said do it,
like, because he knows we talked about it earlier. I can go just as fucking aggressive as the next guy. I can fucking do. I know how to do it.
Scorched earth.
And we're gonna talk about it because very soon in this conversation, I go scorched earth for a little bit because someone tried to cancel me. So I know how to do that. But I again going back to once I did that to Marcel, and I did hurt Marcel. Like I did hurt his reputation. I didn't hurt his sales. I don't think I hurt his sales. But his reputation in the indie community was severely damaged, and I think irreparable damage, not just because of me, because of his own actions, because of other people as well. I don't want to do that to people, right? Like I don't want to do that to people, especially to a friend who's trying to fight for me. So yeah, continue. Sorry.
No, but like I don't think a lot of people like Tyler, how come you didn't fight back against like Travis or Band of Bards? And like I don't know if but I called you. I said, dude, do like I repeatedly went, do what you got to do. If you got to if you've got to cancel me, if you've got to kick me off this book, like if you've got to we'll still be friends. We'll still talk privately. But if you've got to like get rid of me, do what you got to do. And Travis, being the good friend of his, maybe a little bit stupid, did not did not do that. And so we get a phone call from Band of Bards. I do. And another thing is a lot of people I feel like when people think, Band of Bards canceled Tyler, they think I got a phone call that was like, hey, fuck you, Tyler, for your tweets today. You're out. It was the most heartfelt apology. And it was one, I don't think Tim knows how to raise his voice.
Sure, he's a very well. I've heard him raise his voice, but he's a very soft-spoken.
Talks like this, and so he was just like, "Hey, like this." He was basically like, "Hey," and from a business side, they're a publisher. They're a new publisher. They're trying to get in with these indie people, and a lot of the people that were mad at me were LGBTQ people and stuff because they pulled up my old Trump tweets and so they're like, "Hey, we're gonna cancel Coins of Judas because of this." And I asked them, because it was kind of crazy, because hashtag comics broke me is about people not getting it evolved into people not getting paid and not getting work in comics. It went from a guy dying to then hey, I'm not getting paid, I'm not getting work. And it was kind of weird because then people were like, yeah, make sure these guys don't get any money and cancel their books. I'm like, this is the complete opposite of this. Y'all are hypocrites. But I was like, if they cancel the book because of my actions, I've known Roland for 8 years. I've known Travis for 8 years. Jerome is a letterer who's Ringo nominated. And Travis is now Ringo nominated. But this sucks for everyone involved because of still today what I consider I don't consider a stupid tweet. I still think I was in the right, but just a tweet. This is all these people are going to get hurt and not paid. A series that we love. And so I was like, hey, if I just am not in this book anymore, can Travis keep making the book and get paid? Can Roland keep doing it? And I was like, I understand. I understand I didn't sign a contract for issue 3 and 4, even though I already drew issue 3 and stuff. I understand that. Take me off the book. If it means that the book can still go on, the series can go on and get published and everyone can get their money, take me off. And they were like, that's fine. I talked with Travis about it, and that's what happened. Is I just was like, Travis, hey, I know this is what because we had a conversation. I was like, Travis, do you want to do this as just an indie book? And you were like, Tyler, my goal is I need published credits. That's the chess move. The next piece is I need published credits, which to me mean nothing. And so I'm like, then in order for him to do this chess move, I as a pawn need to die. And I let myself, and I told Travis, and a lot of people were mad. Tyler, why don't you talk bad about Travis? Why don't you talk bad about Band of Bards? I'm like, I chose this.
Well, I think people want the war. I think people wanted the war.
Someone this week were like, Tyler, you're bitch made. And I'm like, what? Because I didn't drop my really good friend, and I didn't talk shit about a publisher who in every right is just making a business decision to protect themselves, to keep food on their family, to keep food on the table for their family.
In a book that you want to work on, that you want to exist.
Also, a lot of people don't realize this. It's I still can get money from this book.
Right.
I could like here, let's pull it up. Like if they just did a re-release of 1 and 2, I can get royalties off of that.
I mean, you will. You're once it gets into the green, you will.
Yes. They're doing a graphic novel of this. My artwork's in the first 2 issues. I will not only get some copies of this, but if this is in the green, and hopefully this Kickstarter helps it get to the green, I get money from this. I did a cover and Travis got me money for the cover. So it's like, and I have like several copies of the books I need to put on my website. I can still sell the book. It's like, and it's like, this isn't like a book that I hate. This isn't a series I hate. It's not even with creators I hate. And I don't even hate Band of Bards as a publisher. Like, yeah. Am I a little salty? Yeah. Am I gonna like go out of my way to promote Band of Bards? No, but I'll promote Coins of Judas. I'm not gonna promote like, yeah, like Band of Bards is like hashtag forever. No, but like I'm gonna support Coins of Judas because I love Travis. I love Roland. I like Jerome. Heather's on the book as well. Like, it's just a win for everyone. These are my friends. Why would I want to do that? Why would I want to do that? To my friends, and a lot of people wanted blood, and I didn't give it to them, and that actually hurt some of my reputation too, because at the time, I then like got the Comicsgate people to come on because like, oh, a new canceled person to like bring into the fold, and it was funny because Ethan Van Sciver pulled up my tweet and was like, oh look, Drawn Talk got canceled. Fuck that guy, and then just moved on.
Well, I think he said he really shitty that it happened, but he has fucking horrible art.
Yeah. He has fucking horrible art. So like, move on. Yeah. So it like, but like, I had some Comicsgate people who were like, "You need to go hard at this," and I was like, I don't want to do that. That's not what I want to do. And they're like, "Oh, I guess you're a bitch, so you're not gonna be. We're not gonna like support you." And so it was just this weird like. Yeah, it was just weird. I mean, I launched Super Plumber Sisters the next day and it became my most successable Kickstarter ever. So
yeah, I mean, you know how to leverage it, right?
Yeah, I leveraged it. I went, okay, like I know what I'm gonna do. But then and I've probably got like 30 more minutes left. But so there's this fire that's happening with Band of Bards. And then introducing new person to come to come out.
I had during this time, because this happens in indie communities, I had created a beef, and I will say I created it.
That's very responsible because I think you did.
Well, it was this person. I don't know. Obviously, it's Stokes. He was doing a lot of things that I felt were bad for the community. He was doing CG like streams where they was like calling people out and doing things that I was like, this shit is bad.
Which goes back, by the way, to like the whole like creators having binoculars on other creators. Like, why are you doing this? Like, right. It was one of those moments where like you care.
None of my business, right?
Like, you care too much over it. It was none of your business. But like that shit happens where like we do that where we care so much about someone's business that's not our own, and then we get involved even though we don't need to, and then there's beef. So yeah, you got into a beef, and I also got into a beef with because I had to take sides.
Yeah, well, I mean, it started the belief is, and I'm not sure if it's true or not. Like, a lot of people believe the catalyst was he was mean to you, so I went to war against him, which is possible. Like,
I don't remember.
Yeah, you were first. You were the first chick to fall in that particular situation.
But yeah, you had big beef with Stokes,
right? And he and this is where I'm most hurt or offended is we had been fine, maybe a little subtweeted, but fine. A lot of people subtweet, like that's not.
Dude, these two were subtweeting so much. Like when I was reading on Twitter, I'm like, oh look, it's two people having a conversation, but they're in different rooms. Like
we're like yelling at you're yelling at your mom from the other room.
Yeah, but they were subtweeting on both sides. Yeah.
Sure. And then he released a canceled tweet trying to claim that I was Comicsgate.
Perfect. It was perfect because it was during the hashtag comics broke me. It was like it was perfect timing. It was perfect time. And keep in mind, like we're laughing about this right now and like, oh, like that happened. This was super emotional. Right. This like we were both like I'd be publicly like on Twitter, like I'd be on YouTube, like I'm gonna burn it down, and like on the phone, Travis, like, dude, I fucking hate my life right now.
Right. Well, and I mean, I was scared I was going to be canceled.
You were you had I think you had a Kickstarter going on.
I had a Kickstarter that was underperforming. It would have funded I think there's a person in his crew. I believe that they were like, oh, he just funded because he cried on the internet. Because what I did is I did a video response, and again, I had learned not to do video responses for Marcel. I had stopped doing that. Mm-hmm. I did wrong by my boy Luke and.
But this is this is the moment where you had a swing where you have to go, hey guys, this is my side. Because when these things happen, it's either you allow people to create the narrative for you, or you have to create the narrative for yourself. And when a narrative is created for you, and if it's false, you have to come in swinging. And you did that, and you did that stream that night. Which was like, hey, this is what's going on. And yeah, you cried. It worked. No, you cried. You were emotional.
I mean, I don't think fucking people like it. I'm trying to say, I know you do, but I don't think fucking people understand how much I love comics and like how important it is to me to create comics. Like it is as important as my wife and my kids. Like it is that part.
Well, and reading comics, like look, pull you have your stack next to you, because
this is my stack from this week.
I went to go poop before the stream, and then I get in and he's just reading a comic, and I'm like, oh, you get some good comics today? And he goes, I got this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one. I'm like, okay, like relax, man.
Yeah, someone pointed out, like, and the point that Stokes was aggressive, Miracle Kingdom right there. He said I watched the stream where Travis was being cool with him, and then we saw Travis to his face. He was a much better writer than Travis, and he had never read my stuff. But that's Stokes' persona. Like that's
yeah. But like yeah, and you were both like I think like now we can all like say that everyone was aggressive, almost for no reason at that point. And like you two have had your beef, and you guys are just like you guys are in your guys' little arenas right now, just doing your own thing.
I've actually reflected on a lot. I could never get back. I could never forgive someone who will go kill shot. Like, if he would have called me Comicsgate like on a day when we were fighting like aggressively and went that's forgivable to me. But like planning and executing like fucking Machine Gun Kelly style, like I want to take you down. And then I had to come back like Eminem and take up Machine Gun Kelly, and that's just the way it is.
Yeah, it had to been any other day.
Right. It was a kill. It was an attempt to take out my career. So, and that I take that's very personal. Like you don't, and but the difference is compared to now to then. At then, I didn't want him to eat. Like I played it, but like I was days away from like I'm gonna go skirt charge and ruin this guy's rep. Like I'm gonna do what he did to me, and it took me every ounce of my being, my wife. It took your video of like how much you care about me. Like, if I do that, I'm gonna hurt Tyler's whole sacrifice. Like, if I would do that and change it to be about this guy's got to go down,
it ruins it. It
ruins what we're trying to do. We're trying to save the book. We're trying to save try to get things. It ruins the whole thing, the whole moto,
and it ruins the journey that you're also. Because I remember you were like, I'm gonna do this. I'm like, Travis. Like if you do that, you're gonna jump on the road that I'm on, and I like this road. You don't want to be on this road. You'll be on the road and be like, Tyler, I hate this road. I'm like, yeah, well, we're here.
So I didn't want him to eat at the time. Like I can safely say that I may have pretended and say some stuff on the internet that sounded like I was not, but no, I was. I would have done whatever I needed to do at that point.
And like, and what sucks is like. That shit happened on both ends. Everyone's responsible. And hopefully with people listening to this, they go, okay, like what could have prevented all of that? And what could have prevented like the Stokes thing? Cause I was also involved as well. Not as bad, but like is we had binoculars on someone else's business that we had that like, yeah, he's saying his shit. Like, why did we care? Why did we read his tweet and go, who does this guy think? Like, why did we take it so personal?
It's because we worked so hard to get where we are, and he was trashing what we were doing, in our opinion.
In our opinion, but yeah, exactly.
In our opinion, I'm not saying that that's even his intention, but that was our opinion at the time.
and I don't know, I wish like future Tyler could go back and go, it's okay because this guy's like level 1 right now. Like he's just starting and this is where he's at. I mean, I will say this, like I've had him on stream I think twice this year. I deleted one of them because it was a shit show. And I know you did. Like I will say, like once again, it's kind of like back to like my whole like Leanna Kangas thing. Like for me, I felt like I trashed this creator who's on this journey. Sucks is on his own journey. Maybe he's doing it a different way, but I still like went out of my way to go like why is this guy doing it this way?
And he does. And you and I think the other thing is we have a natural respect for him because he does things like us. Yeah. He'll do like, I'm going to do a manga today. That I'm going to do for a week. Like, that's a bad idea, but cool, try it. I'm the guy who's like, I'm going to try Cthulhu. I'm going to do hospice. I'm going to have 6 books connected. Yeah. Like, you and I do random things that are against the mold.
Yeah. Right? And Stokes is like, that's the thing is like, I always tell him, I respect you as a creator for doing stuff. And, but yeah, we once again though, in this journey, sometimes we just get emotional, we get beefy, and we just have to we have to own up the mistakes. Like we have to own up to like all the decisions we've made in the last 8 years. Like, were there some good calls? Were there some good swings? Absolutely. Were there some bad swings? Absolutely. Like a good swing, calling out Marcel. A good swing, like we didn't even bring this up, we don't have to. I got canceled from that ICC group, and so then I did a big drama stream with it. And you were there too.
I completely forgot about that.
Yeah. And that was a good swing. Bad swing, Leanna Kangas. Medium swing. I mean, the comics broken me thing was just stupid still, but we both did what we had to do. So
that was a bad swing on your part, but
I still do not apologize to anything I said.
Fair.
But
my swinging back on, Stoke, like I don't regret my video. I don't regret anything. I only took it down because of my career. Like, let's be honest.
Well, also like, you moved on. Yeah. I think your video was good for the time. Yeah.
It's not deleted.
Well, your video was good for the time. And it's like, that's a good swing, and a bad swing probably would have just been like, why do we even start this fight in the first place? Like that's a bad swing.
Sure. Like I can get that. But it never like, the escalation of where it went was not my fault, because it went to here to there. That there's a whole different thing. Like it became a war for no reason. Like, because regardless of all the bad things, it was really just going, hey man, like maybe don't do videos of like attacking people on the internet. Like it was advice. He didn't like the advice, but it was advice that I felt.
But also, would you say you didn't like that he didn't like the advice?
I don't like that anybody thinks about it. I'm a fucking genius, Tyler. Like anybody. But it got worse. Like, I don't know if you know this, but one of his friends like went to a con.
Yeah. I do know all that petty stuff.
Yeah, went to a con and like tried to cancel me. But one of the positive things about that is, and I really learned it recently at MegaCon. So at MegaCon, that person was at the con. All right. And again, I have a firm policy. I'm not mad. Like, I'm over it. Like, I don't want them to like, I want you to eat. Just don't eat. You're not welcome at my table. Like, you're not coming to my table. I'm not going to help promote your stuff when you tried to kill me. Right. When you tried to end my career. Like,
yeah, just like
we can't
make your comics, do your thing, do it over there.
You think you're talented. Like, and I've said that, like, I've been consistent on that. Like, I think it's rough around the edges. I think it needs some work. But I think there's a good writer in there. I think there's some stuff that needs to be worked on, but I think there's a great writer in there. I'm not ashamed to admit that, because honestly, in the indie market, there's not as many as I'd like who I could go are good writers. So like he's on that stuff. And if Moses does things that I can't, his friend Moses, I can't do that shit. I don't even know how he does it. Like, those are people I respect. If you can do something that I can't replicate, I respect you, regardless of how I feel or drama or any of that shit. Like, stuff. But anyway, so at this MegaCon, and when that happened, by the way, like, people were like, no, Travis I got calls by 5 people. They're like, hey, this is happening. And they're like, oh, we're done with him. But when we went, people wanted to eat with, like, there was a plan to eat. And then I was like, I'm not going to go there because he's there. Like, he does not get to eat at my table. Mm-hmm. I'm going. You guys can hang out with him. Just hang out with me tomorrow night. All good. Everybody canceled to hang out with me. And though that's shitty for him, but it does show like I have goodwill and people love and want to spend time with me. And though that's shitty for him, for me, I felt really loved and cared for. Like I did. I know it sounds shitty. But like it was like you've put so much goodwill into this community that we acknowledge and see that, and we want to spend time with you. Like we've got this stuff though. What's up? And then the next day he called me. I'm like, all right, where are we going? I was like, oh shit, I'm not going out tonight. You can do whatever you want if you want to do that. But it really meant a lot to me. And the other thing, even talking about that guy, like, because I said positive stuff about that guy, someone got the story from me and somebody else, and the story was very similar except for like some key viewpoints of it. I like that and respect a person who has that, because there's nothing worse than when one person tells you a story and then another person is so fucking different. Like you're like, one of you is fucking lying. So I have respect for someone who doesn't lie, right? Like, here's what went down. There's key elements that, I may like be more passionate about or angry about, more things that he may. I respect someone who like doesn't lie. So even though I don't like that person, like I can respect that. But no, Silks, I want him to do his thing. He's just not welcome at my table because he tried to kill me. He tried to kill my career. Like, how can I him at my table? Like, because let's talk about it. Like, you tried to get us. Let's
yes, dude. This year I wanted kumbaya for everyone, and I've gone the opposite of kumbaya. I've lost a friend group. I got kicked out of one. I tried to bring kumbaya with creators. It was a shit show. I was like, maybe kumbaya, and I was like, you know what? Now I'm just like, fuck kumbaya.
Right. Well, and you and I had to talk about it, and like what it stemmed to at the end, it was just like you and I having a conversation. I was like, you want this?
Yeah, I want this.
Him and I don't want this, as far as I can tell. Yeah. Right.
And well, and it kind of stems to like this great segue. We've had just fantastic segues. Is like, it's 2024. It's like almost March, so we're almost like we're almost done with Q1, and like, to me, this whole year has been like, I thought this year was going to be something, and it's turning out to be the opposite, but like not in a bad way per se. But like right now I've got no beefs. Like, I had that problem with Larry. It wasn't even a problem. It was just gay and stupid, and I still don't know why it's a problem, but it's a problem. So like, Larry's just doing his own thing. He's having a silly goose time over doing his own thing, and like, that's fantastic. I hope he wins. I will say he attempted in a video, in a live show, to like try to like make me look bad on like some live stream, and it didn't work because I came in there and was like, this is the truth, and I was very calm, and the person was like, I don't know how to respond to Tyler, because I thought we were gonna fight Tyler, but he's actually not a bad guy. But so like, now I'm kind of like in this spot where like, you and I, it's 2024. You don't have any beefs with people. I don't have any beefs. We're kind of like now just, I don't want to say things are boring, but the tide is just kind of calm. Like, so like, what's
the tide's not calm. If you look on the Twitters, it's not calm. But
just like in our own universe. Because you're right. Like, indie comics right now, shit show. Like the Scout Comics thing, not good. That's gonna go on for several days.
This Eric July thing is still going. Like, I thought it was done, and then
dude, this EVS versus Eric July thing is like driving. It's driving me to the point where I'm like, I don't want to be anywhere near. Like, I actually don't even have a problem with Eric July. I don't follow him. I just hate the amount of I hate that EVS is like, I don't know. EVS has showcased a type of comic book fan that is so vile that like I'm so upset that I'm not upset. Like, it's ruining my day, but I'm like, I can't believe this is happening. This person exists. Like, everyone's like, oh, like people who shouldn't have an opinion on how comics are being made are like discussing everything. They're like they literally today someone was like, I can't believe Eric July is using 3D assets, blah, blah, and backgrounds. I hate it, blah, blah, blah. This guy's blah, blah. And then they posted a panel from a Daredevil comic. And they're like, I freaking love this scene. And I look at the background. I'm like, that is a photoshopped built pic photo. They just hit a button. It looks so shit, but like, they don't know the difference. And I'm like, but I do, because I have used that button several times. And I'm like, you don't need to be in this, like, you don't need to have this discussion. Why? So, so like, yeah, like you have the EVS versus Eric July thing. I mean, EVS literally has a new show called Trash Cast where it's just like, what's the new Eric July shit I can talk about? And
people are paying thousands of dollars to get like their comic book bashed. Like, I don't understand that. Like,
yeah, it's nuts. And then he gets to like bash the comic, put it on eBay, make like $4,000 on the creator's copy that he like drew over and like fix this. And I'm like, this. So like you have that side of indie comics. Yeah, so you have like the kind of like the more mainstream side of indie comics with like, okay, Scout Comics isn't paying. Like that sucks because that's a top indie publisher.
I mean, Source Point is no longer in previews. You know what's going on with there. A lot
Source Point's not into previews anymore. So like Source Point going down, I guess. That's not good. Not in previews. Is Bob Sally still a Source Point?
Bob Sally, I don't feel comfortable talking about it, but he's not making comics right now.
Shame. Probably personal stuff that I don't even know. No. Yeah, Scout Comics problems, Source Point problems. You have Eric July versus like freaking Comicsgate. Like that sucks. So then you have like the other Comicsgate stuff, and like there are people in Comicsgate who are like, because of this Eric July versus EVS stuff, they're slowly like, how do I get out of this?
Right.
I've talked with some like big CG people, big indie people. Not like all the pros are sticking around with EVS, but like some of the indie guys who like EVS let in his circle, a lot of them are messaging me like, dude, I gotta get out of this. I gotta get away from this. But I'm just like, it's just like indie comics is so toxic. Like we just addressed like a couple beefs that we've had and with publishers, problems with publishers and stuff. But like, there's always going to be these problems with creators. Like creators are always going to be fighting creators. We're going to have the same topics all the time. And it's almost like for me, I'm so tired of it that I'm like, how do I get out of this community? Like that's my goal this year is to,
and I don't think that's the answer, but I understand you do everything in extremes. I get it.
I guess like when I say community, mostly like creator community, I think that's where a lot of it stems the problems. Because I don't think I have enough like fans, diehard. Like I think the fans that I've cultivated, or like the audience I've cultivated, are nice people.
Sure.
I'm not doing like daily like let me destroy this creator's career like streams, and those are my audience like, yeah, let's destroy this person. So like I've created like somewhat of a positive community who will either be like, yeah, like what Tyler said wasn't wrong, or yeah, Tyler's stupid, but like he gave me some good advice once, so I'll stick around with him. But I think mostly it's the creator. Like I left your Discord, which sucks because your Discord is like the best creator Discord out there. I was part of like 5, and I was like, okay, guys, Travis is like the best. I would actively be on my phone like, all right, what are people talking about? I'd get pissed if I didn't get a notification of a conversation, and I'm like an hour late, so all the good points, all the stuff that I'm like, oh, I want to reply to that, so I've got to go back.
Damn it, Charlie and Patch. God, now I can't fucking talk.
Yeah. So like, so yeah, I think most of it, I think for me, what I have learned in all of this is all the problems that I've ever been in have been due to creator versus creator. That's always been my problem. I've never had a problem with audience, readers. It's always just been a creator versus creator thing. And I'm like, for me, I'm like, well, I'm clearly a problem since like I'm down to just you and Nicholas Mueller. Like Tim.
Frank Martin still likes you.
What?
I think Frank Martin still likes you.
Oh, I love Frank. Yeah, that's true. I talk with Frank most every week. Yeah. So like I'm down to like 4. No, I've got a lot of awesome creator friends. But I think that's where my problem is like I got I don't know, passionate about making comics and business, and that's the problem. So I don't know. What about you?
But you still do a post like today. 70% of Tokyo's digital. Like
that's the problem. Like I'm so into it though. Like it's that's why I'm struggling. I want to leave it. It's like an ex-girlfriend who beats the shit out of you, but she'll let you have sex with her like every now and then.
But there's good stuff. I'm happy that we have Coins and Units coming as a trade because this is part of our goal. This is the end. Yeah. I'm happy, and click that notification button, guys. Like Tyler's fully part of it. He will get paid. It'll be good. It'll be fun. We have a hardcover, we have a soft cover, we have all sorts of cool stuff. And he gets comps because he did half of it, so it's good. That's more things for him to sell on its Kickstarter. But when I talk about it, it's cool that we're at this point where, your covers are still in the direct market. You're still associated with the book, even though you didn't do the interior pages of the second arc.
Yeah, I've still got a cover, which, in my opinion, still is like the best cover I've ever done.
Yeah.
Which I'm very stoked about.
Yeah, I think both your Gambler covers are very strong.
What do you like with 2020? Like, how's your, because like my chess moves now are like, how do I separate myself from the indie comics community the creator community in terms of like how they do shit? Mm-hmm. Like, how's your stuff going? Because your chess game is to do the Marvel and DC stuff.
Yeah. So this year, I'm trying to get a couple of publishing gigs, which is tough because it's less Kickstarter gigs, because I'd love to do more Kickstarters with new IPs, but I'm kind of saving the IPs for publishers, which sucks because I'm basically going, hey, instead of making money, I'm going to not, because me putting out a new IP gets me bigger money than old IPs. It's just reality. New IPs are the secret. That's one of the secrets of secret sauce. Not all new IPs are the same, but if you find one that hits, that first launch is going to be great, and then you'll go from there. I'm trying to enter new communities with people who speak my language a little bit. So I'm in a lot of Substacks with like Scott Snyder and like Brian Michael Bendis, and like I'm all these things. I'm trying to, and I haven't been good at it, trying to talk more in that group and look for fans there, because those are the fans who are going to the comic stores with me.
Yeah,
and speak their language. And if I can acquire a few of them as fans, and I think more of those people they just want behind the scenes stuff. They don't necessarily want to be comic creators, right? I think
that's a big thing, is when like the first couple of years, the people who are backing you are other creators, because they want to see what you're doing, how you made it, and they're also like, comic creators are still comic book fans, but it's like, where do you find the people who have zero desire to actually make a comic?
Right.
And that's the hard part. So yeah, when you go into a community, like another community of like, oh, I read Batman every year, it's like, sweet. Do you have any intentions of making a comic? No, I just love reading it. Sweet. How do I get you to read my book?
Right. So trying to figure out that natural, and again, here's a secret. Here's the one secret we'll give you tonight, besides like, don't be a dick. The other secret,
because we've been a dick. We've been a dick.
The secret to comics is, don't just share your fucking link. Care about the community. Like, that's the hardest part. Like, people will come into these places and just share their shit, and they haven't. This is why a Stokes thing situation happens, is because you're sharing your shit, you're saying your stuff, but you're not part of the bigger Zengeist. A lot of times when I do my creator hangouts, I get very frustrated. In fact, I even rejected a couple of people recently because they had more created books than they had backs. I'm like, you're not part of the community. You're not being part of the backing stuff. Don't just share your link. Like, talk to people. Like, actually try to be it. Those are the groups that matter. Like Indie Comics Conspiracy. Say what you want about it. And you may have had some fallouts or may have left it. But the reason why that group works is it's not about shilling 100%. If you shill 100%, you're never going to get anything out of that group. But if you do try to engage, you can get something out of that group and doing that. So trying to figure out that, where so many people just want to be like, my shit's the best. Why would you even check out my new thing that I created? Like, it's got to be more than that. It's got to be about relationship. And I know I'm good at that, but I'm trying to be more of an advocate of like, other people need to be good at that.
Well, you got to be a steward. I mean, I think I backed like 4 projects this week, and not because I'm like, oh, I've got to pay my dues to the community. Right. It's there are awesome creators out there who are making good stuff. Like it's karma. You want people to support you. Well, Like, what do you like? Even if it's $1 or $5, I can do a lot with $1. You know, I can. That, you know, that's a bag and board, man.
Yeah, you don't have to do it like me, where I go crazy, where I'm at $1,000. You don't have
Yeah,
to do
Travis has a lot of money, guys,
it. Don't.
and he
But
has
I spent it.
a shit ton of money. And but
Spend
no,
it like I do right now.
but like I will say this, yeah, I agree. Like, don't like Travis knows me a long time. Everything I do is the extreme. I don't just like I'm gonna leave one group. I leave all the groups. But like any comic conspiracy, okay, I'll tell you this. The reason why I left any kind of comic conspiracy is I got kind of, and this is me, like there's no reason for me to get upset at someone and then get upset at them over something that's not a big deal. There was just I forget who it was, but they posted something, and it was a question, and I was like, "How long have you been doing this? You should know this answer by now." And I was like, "This group has just people who aren't growing, and they're just in the same spot. And I'm getting so pissed off, so like because they ask the same shitty questions and they don't know anything, but they should because we joined the group the same year and." Why are you still here? So I left, not because I hate the group. It's actually probably the better of the comic group creator groups on Facebook. Like there's Indie Comics creator, there's Indie Comic Conspiracy, and then I think there's like I Make Comics. Those, I think those are two good groups for like talking stuff. And I think the best group to like find artists and stuff is Connecting Writers and Artists Facebook group. I think that's the number one, like the best place to find it.
You know, I find a good one. There's a colorist group that I find a lot of artists at. Like, I don't know why, but like I do really well in the colorist group.
Okay, there you go. I need to look in that, dude. I have a lot of success on Fiverr.
You find someone for comics on Fiverr. I get scared,
dude. Well, here's the thing: you have to spend like several like hours combing through so many shitty profiles, and then you find a good one. Right. Yeah, I've done several. I've done several like covers and stuff off of people with from Fiverr. But yeah, no, like that's a good move that you're doing. You're looking for fans, you're looking for readers, and I think that's kind of the next step. I think a lot of creators, after their 5 years, if they don't find those actual readers and they're just relying on like creator goodwill, can only last so long. Where it's like, listen, I backed you. Like I've backed you enough times. Like,
yeah,
I can't keep coming in the last minute to get your book funded.
Yeah, I think that's where I'm at right now. Like, I think not that I'm on the downswing or anything like that, but I think
you're self-aware that you need to take that next step.
Right. I need to find some new readers because I also think that Kickstarter has lost probably about a good 100, 150 to 200 people who used to back all the time, a lot of stuff. They just disappeared. I don't know if it was COVID. I don't know if they're student loans payments. I don't know if they just got out of comics, but they're gone, right? They're gone. So we got to figure it out, and how that does.
Yeah, I think for me, I kind of like realized that Kickstarter is its own community.
Right.
Like they buy stuff on Kickstarter, and like and I like posted something on my Substack. I'm like, hey, you can get my comic right here. You can get another comic, and no one bought it. And I went, are the people on my Substack who are from Kickstarter, are they only Kickstarter buyers? Wow. Probably. So I'm like, oh, great. So now kind of going back to like, I'm being ruled by a platform. Like I'm being ruled. My success is based off of something that's not in my control. Like, oh, if I don't do well on Kickstarter, then I'm not making sales on my online store. I'm like, okay, I've got to get out of this. Still use Kickstarter, obviously, because it's a great place. It's a great platform. But it's like, okay, like, where's the next 100, 200?
And I don't think people realize it. And you've said it, and I know it's aware just because I work in marketing. If you post your shit, your book, and you're active in that community and you post it every day, as well as engage, you will get buyers every week. They may not be crazy. They may just be digital. They may just whatever. You will do it. The question is that worth it to you? How much will you actually make, and what that stuff is? How do you grow that?
Yeah. I mean, you were saying like, I'll pull up. Like you were talking about, like, you guys, this Voodoo Nations got 41 hours ago. I'll put the link in the chat. Like you were saying, like normally at this time we would hit this number. And
yeah, I'm normally on 2,700. I'm at normally 260 backers. So I'm normally at 200 trying to get the last 30 is like 30
30
to
to
50.
50. So yeah, so the question then is like, for me, like if this was my campaign, the question is like, if this was where you ended, which still you funded and you get the book made. The question though is, okay, how do I grow this number outside of Kickstarter? And that's a whole other, you have to do other things.
Right. But it
like
doesn't sell well at cons. This book doesn't do well at cons.
So yeah, so if it doesn't do well at cons, you either have to find a new audience, or this is just one of those books that that you put as an add-on and you pray to God someone buys the trade.
Well, and I think it has a secondary life. I think we'll try the direct market. We'll try it at a comic store. I want to finish it first.
That's the thing. Like that's a good, but like the second life. Like you can treat your books to have a second life, and I think a lot of creators, they just focus on that first, the Kickstarter. How do I get to the next Kickstarter? And it's like, okay, but like for me, because I haven't done a Kickstarter in like 3 weeks because I've punished Kickstarter's punishing me, and then 2, I've decided to punish myself, even though Kickstarter's already punished me, but I'm punishing myself.
You couldn't get past to fund. I know that you had that bait. You couldn't beat them. Like they're stickling.
They won't let me do another project.
Weird.
Which is super weird. And they were like, well, you have to be a creator in good standing. Well, no, actually what they did, which was kind of uncalled for, because I was on my Mr. Smile account, and then I was like, hey, I want to launch this book, and they go, well, you have Super Plumber Sisters going, and that's on a different account. And I went, okay, so this matters, having, like, I have multiple accounts. Right. I'm like, okay, I have multiple accounts.
Lots of people do that, but fine.
Yeah, sure. So I was like, but like, I didn't think that Kickstarter would bring that up to me. So I went, okay, you guys know I have multiple accounts. That's fine. If multiple accounts is the thing that's stopping me, if this campaign from another account is stopping me, that means that you would take account, you guys take into account the all of my books from all my accounts. Yeah. Therefore, if that's the case, I should be in good standing because I have 10 Kickstarters fulfilled. Right. Which means I should be allowed to do 6 projects. Right. And that's when they went, still no. Even though I went, okay, well, that's really hypocritical, since I know, like, I saw Stokes has 2 pre-launch pages. Oh, that I did a backflip because I was like, wait, you can do that? Mad about that. Not mad at Stokes for being able to do that, just mad that, like, rules for me, not for not for me. And so I was just like, That's kind of where I am right now on Kickstarter. Because like, if they had just said my Mr. Smile account isn't in good standing because I've only done 2 Kickstarters on it, I'd be like, fair. That 100% makes sense. Yeah. But the fact that they brought in my Super Plumber Sisters account, I went, oh, so you look at all accounts. Then I am like way past the line in being in good standing. And technically I only have 3 campaigns open, which means I should be allowed another 3. According to your terms of service. And they're like, oh, well, no. And kind of sucks is, Kickstarter is run by people, and someone can just be a dick one day. No. But they can be super nice to someone and let them do 2 pre-launch pages, which blows my mind. And then for me, they can go, yeah, someone woke up, got broken up with or something, and had a bad day, and their bagel was burnt, and they went, yeah, fuck this guy. I'm going to ruin his life.
That's wild. Yeah, it seems arbitrary, but I know that I don't know the details, but I know other people are starting to get hit too. I think they're starting to see the influx of campaigns on the thing, and I think they're worried because statistics have shown if you do things at your level, my level, Pat Shan's level, books start to become late more often.
Yeah, yes, and I will say, like, my girl with the yeah, I mean, my girl with the Megafist book is late. Right. I mean, I blame me losing my job and then stuff, but like, I'm still accountable for that. That's still my fault. Right. And so, yeah, like all my other books have been on time. It's just that one book, but I let a book slip and get late. Like that's on that's on me 100%. But yeah, so right now I'm like, okay, if I can just finish all my books, because I have a book coming into next week to fulfill. I have another book coming in 3 weeks to fulfill. And then if I can finish that girl with the Megafist, then like I'm like everything's clear. There's no reason that Kickstarter can say no, because I'm like, all right, I'm at 0 now. I'm a fresh slate.
I would. You just sent out Cthulhu Murders?
Cthulhu Murders, and then the print books get here next week.
Yeah, I would try to go.
Try it again on that account.
I would just try to post. I was just try to relaunch your campaign. All right, just fulfilled another one. Are we good?
That's fair. Yeah, that's fair. Oh, this is
All
gonna be
right.
a good. This is gonna be a good year.
Yeah, I think it's going to be fine. You know, there's a lot of stuff I've got up in the air. I've got two publishing options right now that
It's
I'm
exciting.
trying to get. And again, that's one of the things that's changed my perspective. I'm like, I'm not playing the same game as I used to be playing, right? I'm not. I don't need to fight against Kickstarter. Like I'm very frustrated about the sexy big take, and that less books that don't have that content are big stuff.
Dude, I'm actually feeling the same way. Even though I have like those covers, I had a lot of people message me for the Super Plumber Sisters 2,
Right?
like not like saying, "Hey, is there sex in the book?" And I had the same questions on one, and I was like, "No, there isn't." And people go, "Oh, that's what I want." And I'm like, "Okay, what is this?
Right.
Like is this what?" And it's kind of one of those things. And at first, I was like, "Oh, like this is what's gonna like it's okay, it's okay." And now I'm kind of like, we enabled it. Kickstarter enabled it, and I'm seeing a lot more AI comics coming as
Sure.
well. And it's one of those like when a platform enables it, it spreads. Especially when what it enables starts working.
Right.
Like I mean, I'll
And
be
again,
honest.
I don't think all. I am not saying that that just because you make that content that it's bad. That's one of the things I want to make sure it's clear. I don't believe that, but I believe there's a lot of people who will add that element to their comic book to get that extra cover or that extra stuff. And I don't think if that's not the story you were trying to tell, like I want stories for art. Like I want you to tell the story that you want to tell and not add extra marketing thing
Yeah,
to it.
like I was talking with the creator and they're like, I'm just trying to figure out how I can add this 4-page sex scene, and I'm like, why? And they're like, oh, just like so I can put it in the Kickstarter, and I'm like, do you want the 4-page sex scene? They go, oh, it's not really integral, and I'm like, why? Then don't do it. But they know the game.
Right.
Like when you're someone like Pat Shand, like his books revolve around that, and it's like this is the stories that he's good at writing, and he
And
does
what he
them,
wants to write.
and it's what
These
he
are
wants to write. Like, and he's very talented at it. So like, and when you talk to him as well, he's like, yeah, I was at a strip club. I'm like, yeah, you writing about a strip club makes perfect sense because you're a dude that goes to a strip club. Whereas if I go to do a strip club book, Travis can go, that you dude, Tyler, is that a cash grab? And go, absolutely. Because I am Mormon and I have no idea what a strip club looks like, what the inside of a strip. Dude, I didn't even know that they took their panties off.
they may not in your state. It depends on the state.
My friend was like, well, I went to like Colorado. And my friend's like, dude, we're going to a strip club, and I was like, I'm not going, but have fun. And he goes, dude, like you don't want to see just like full nudity? I went, well, and I was like, well, you just see their boobs, and he's like, nah, they take the whole thing off. And I was like, ew, like I was like, ew, you want that like in your face? And he's like, yeah, dude, it's awesome. I was like, dude, I'll microwave some ham and put it on your face if you want. Give you the same experience. But yeah, no,
They
but like,
they don't smell the same. They spray a lot of perfume, so it's fine.
but yeah, I agree. Kickstarter is I think you saw it a year or so before everyone else, and I'm now kind of catching up and saying like, okay, I think Kickstarter is going to go. I think Kickstarter is going to be going great for a select people, and I think Kickstarter is going to get harder for everyone else.
And we're
Um,
seeing it. I mean,
yeah,
we're seeing these campaigns. Even my campaign, and the negative is I can't tell you the answer because I took a year off. Like Voodoo Nations is not a good
yeah,
parameter,
yeah.
So I don't know the answer to that. But I'm still proud of the book, and if it makes 4K, I'm happy. No big deal.
But yeah, but that's where the mind shift change needs to happen. Where it's like, okay, what's the purpose of me doing the Kickstarters now? Because if it's I need to make all my profit here, then you're gonna lose. That's a losing mind game. But if you go, okay, this is a launch for a product that I can sell forever, and then to put into secondary markets, then to me at least you'll win every time.
Right.
At least mentally.
So
'Cause
before we go, can I show you something?
You can show me anything.
I want to show you pages that are going to make you upset because you really wanted to do these pages.
Did you guys do the two? Did you do the double page spread?
Oh, we did more than that.
Guys, I'm mad at Band of Bards. Fuck
See?
Travis Gibb.
Look at this.
I
Look
hate.
at this.
I hate
Look
Coins
at
of
it.
Judas.
You like it?
Everything I said about Roland, I lie now. I don't like Roland anymore. Yeah,
look at
dude. Guys, this was
Hold on. Hold on.
Hold on. Go back to that variant cover.
Look at this. And then look at this.
Is that a fucking tiger?
Yes. This one?
No, the Scrooge McDuck.
Yeah, there is a like Marvel crossover like with Scrooge.
Yeah, I dig it. That's go. All right, go back to that spread, the Coins of Judas spread. I wanted to draw that so bad. Like we talked.
Yeah, I got. Can you see my Facebook? Can you see this?
Yeah, is that just
like this is it all? Let me see if I can make it big. This is Is it getting bigger?
No, now it is. So wait, how are you doing this?
Don't you worry about how I'm doing it.
Oh my gosh, is it going to be a flip book?
Yeah, you're gonna flip it. Yep.
You're gonna flip the page.
Yeah, you're gonna be reading it like this.
All right, my next stream is called I Hate Band of Bards and Travis Gibb and Roland.
But no, it's in your trade, man. Like it'll be done like this.
No, I don't care that I get the book. I'm saying that I wanted to draw that. That's sick.
It's fun. It's fun.
That's sick. That's awesome. Roland did a good job as well.
Yeah, those are some great pages. It's funny because, and I've shared this with him, so this is not going to offend him. Like, issue 1 of The Gambler is tough for me because like I've seen you draw it, then I've seen him draw it. So like it was hard to take me out of that perspective. But when I wrote this book, I did not write it, even though those pages are things we discussed.
Yeah,
you
wrote it for Roland
the same way that I would write it for you.
Mm-hmm.
Because for you, I would have just wrote copy Nightwing. For him, I had to write out and show him what the Nightwing is, and I didn't want to show him. Like I didn't show him exactly what it is. I know you know what it is because you and I talked about it for a little bit. I showed him one panel. I was like, I wanted something like this. I didn't want to show him that the whole fucking book's like that. That one book is like that.
Yeah.
No, I showed him one panel. I was like, this is what we want to do, and it's gonna kill it. It's gonna be awesome.
No, it's sick. When do those come out in the direct market?
So we're live right now with The Gambler right now. Issue 1 is live, so you can order it at your comic store.
Oh, nice.
And then and stuff. So it'll be it's now what are we at? February. We're really March. So April, May, June. So June and July. But you can also if you do the Kickstarter, you get the trade and you get all the cool stuff. And you're more than welcome to help. If you ever want to go on any streams that we're doing to talk about the trade, you're more than welcome.
Coins of Judas. Oh, dude, I can get my cover.
Yes, your cover. Oh, did you put it in diamond? Yep. Cover B.
This is the best. This is the best cover I've ever drawn. And Roland did such a good job with those fucking colors.
Yeah, he's real. I think you and him have a very complementary style because I think your colors being a little muddy really works well for your art style.
For this noir style.
Yeah,
because we did like a hybrid noir and anime style for this, which I've been itching to like. But yeah, I every time I've done like a noir like practice panel, I always like go like, who would I get color this? I'm like, Roland is like, after the Coins of Judas stuff, I'm like, Roland's the only colorist that we found that like gets those muddy colors.
Right.
Gosh, yeah, he did such a good job with this cover. This is the best cover I've ever done.
It's so good. I'm excited about it. I'm excited about it. It's going to be a good book. We're going to get it, and like. I'm happy that it's complete. It's the trade, so we're gonna have a complete story that you and I, done. And by the way, we talked about this. Tyler is credited. I don't have one right here, but he's credited as a creator in all the books, just to show that, like, even though there's, there's some stuff, and he's not on the book. He still is. I fought for his creator credits. We even had a back end deal where I was going to write him a contract to make sure he got it, but luckily it got to the point where I can just leave him as a credited creator, which is great.
Yeah,
and if we're ever out of contract with, I'll say this, even if I'm ever out of contract with Bandit Bards, Tyler will draw more Ghost units.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. Yeah. Hopefully your guys' relationship with Band of Bards continues. Hopefully Band of Bards, dude, being an indie publisher, it's hard. That's hard, but that's sick. I'm gonna go. In shops May 29th, so I just gotta go get my cover.
Yeah, you can order just cover B. There's no like incentive.
That means I need to go to my comic book store. I hate that place.
Well, okay. Didn't when you bought it, like if I remember correctly, didn't they only order like 2 copies and like you sold, and like they sold one, and then you sold your copy to the guy there, so you didn't even have one?
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah. And then I was like, and I told them I was like, can I order like all these and I'll pay for all of them? Just put them on the shelf. And he's like, no. And I was like, even if I pulled out my debit card. I was like, I will buy 25 copies right now. I will give you money and you can put them on your shelf. And if you don't sell them, and then if you make money off of them, you can keep the profits. And if you don't, I'll just take the copies that myself. So it was the most win-win for my comic book store. And they were like, nah.
No. Well,
which was like one of the reasons I was like, no, fuck these guys. Fuck my comic book store. Fuck the black market. Yeah, I was like, I just gave you the best win-win situation in business. You get free product and you get to make money off of the free product.
Right.
Crazy. No, dude, this is gonna be a good year. I think it's I've got no beefs. I got no enemies. I'm not working with any publishers. So like right now. So really, my goal is just get my books out.
What happened? I know that the magazine, like they're canceling it. I thought that they were talking about making you a full book. That didn't happen. Or
no, like I haven't really talked with AP. I haven't really like pushed anything. Once I finish Super Plumber Sisters, I'll talk with them and be like, hey, do you want this? If yes, cool. If not, like no hard feelings.
You know who also be a good option for that book? Who I have a connection with? Keen Spot. Have you ever checked out Keen Spot?
No. Ink Spot?
Keen Spot. So type in Keen Spot in your Google search.
Keen?
Keen. Keen.
Spot?
Yes. Keen Spot Comics. Here, I'll show you.
Okay, I got it right here. This doesn't look like real. They don't look real.
They don't have a great website, but if you look at what they do on,
they need to hire you.
Yeah, they don't have a good website, but
they need to hire you for some website design.
But they've got some stuff.
I've seen this kid.
Yeah, they do. Their most famous thing is they do the Biden Brigade comic. They like make Biden's Titans. They like make fun of Biden comic.
Oh, that's hilarious! There we go, Biden's Titans.
Yeah. And they even do a Donald, the Donald who laughs like parody.
That's
they
funny.
Do a lot of stuff. They do Trump's Titans as well. Like they do some stuff.
So they're down for a silly goose time. Oh, they did the AOC comic. I saw the Yang Gang. Okay, so they like to.
Yeah, I think that your books would. I think your books would do well in that portfolio.
Are they in the? Are they? Do they? Yeah, I'll have to talk,
yeah, they're in Diamond. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll talk with them.
Dude, I do Diamond, like. They have a huge double page spread. Like I didn't buy Diamond this month, which is weird because we're in it. So I normally buy it, but I just.
Yeah, I do like AP. They're very easy to work with.
Sure.
But yeah, I'll have to look into. Yeah, I haven't. There's a couple. Like I haven't pushed AP. Like they have my Girl with the Megafist stuff. Like if they don't want to do it, that's fine. Like Manga Z is. I don't think they're doing it anymore. And then like if they were to do the Girl with the Megafist, like they have 3 years worth of stories.
Sure.
And I don't know, and like in my mind, it's like, yeah, like why aren't you doing? You have 36 issues, why aren't you doing it? But like if they don't feel like they want to do it, like let's fine.
Right. What are you gonna do, right?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, it's fine for them. I think another thing. No, we don't have to talk about it. I was gonna say there's kind of like this like group of AP creators are kind of like mob mentality.
Sure.
You know,
Well,
and it,
I think that that's just your one friend. I don't think that's the.
you're right, but like I don't. It's one of those things. Like I'm doing everything in my power to avoid any negativity, and I don't need like why is this person not promoting enough? Why don't they? Why doesn't Tyler have like the AP flag behind him? Is he not like he's not worthy of even being here with us? And it's like I don't need to have any fight. I don't need fights or enemies. Like honestly, the thing that I've got planned in the next like 4 months, I'm super excited about because it's like shit that I actually like enjoy like creating, but also like viewing, and it goes against like everything that like anyone in indie comics makes or does to market. And I'm like, I swear to God, if I hear anyone go like this guy's so fucking stupid for make this, like I will block. I'm just on a blocking spree, with creators. I do miss your Discord though, man. It was.
You're welcome back at any time.
I know. I literally would like. It was the first thing I pulled up when I woke up because I knew there was a time difference. I knew there was a 2-hour time difference. So I'm like, okay, if I wake up at 7, Frank has had 2 hours to post something in there.
Yeah, no, it's a debate every day. You know.
It's good, and like you do a very good job of going. Okay, I'm only inviting 5 people this month.
Yeah.
Because you don't get this influx of just wackos. You go, okay, like, and you hand select those 5 people. They go, I want it, and you go, okay, you, not you.
Yeah, no, I've had hardcore comic shade people go like, first off, how did you find my profile? Second off, like that's not going to work out. Like,
Yeah, like I was probably as like quote unquote comic skate as you could be in that group, and I'm not even comic skate. I had my toes in it, and even then, you can.
Well, yeah, and because you could invite anybody, I mean, obviously, I see it, but like,
oh, really? So that's how they're.
yeah,
I know nothing about Discord.
yeah, Discord. Anybody can invite anybody, but like, I'd see it, like it'll come to the general, and I'll be like, "Who the fuck invited you?" You know?
Gotcha. Well, dude, I told
We've
my
had
wife this was a 2-hour stream. So, guys, we'll probably have Travis on. This would probably be my last live stream for like a bit. But I wanted to have Travis come on. I wanted us to like hash it out, talk it out. Hope you learned something from it. Really, at the end of the day, just do your own stuff. Like, don't worry about what other players are doing.
We've never had both of us talk about the Coins of Judas thing in the same room. Like,
have we not?
No, like you've talked about it on your stream.
Oh.
My crying stream, as they call it. But we've never talked about it at the same time, you know?
Crying is the new meta.
This has been your first live stream in a bit, TOTO.
This has been my first live stream in a bit. Yeah, I took like 2 weeks off. I was out of town last week in Las Vegas. Sorry, in Chicago. I'm doing a lot of traveling for my job, so that's why I'm like, I've got plans to do more live streams and content. I just have to get these books. It's like if I stream myself drawing, I can do 2 pages in 1 hour, gray toning. If I don't, I can do 5 to 6.
Right.
So I'm like, I'm not streaming it. I can finish a book in a week if I don't turn the camera on. Right. If I don't draw and talk. So
if you don't draw and talk,
if I don't
just draw, like
if I just draw, I can just destroy these books in literally like 2 weeks, right. And then I'm done and caught up. So, but if things go to plan, guys, and my plan in 3 to 4 months, I'll be putting out a new digital comic every 2 weeks. That's the plan.
You've had that plan a couple of times.
Yeah, they're gonna be 10 to 12 page one shots every single week. I got a colorist lined up. Like they're like, yeah, I'm ready to do this. Just like, give me the word. And I've already got some of the stories lined up. I just gotta finish my fucking books. All right, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. This is 3 hours. If you freaking made it to the end of the 3 hours, you are a trooper. Guys, go check out.
Last time I checked, we had like 13 people on.
I know we're at 10, so like we still got some stragglers, so we appreciate them. Guys, go check out Voodoo Nations issues 1 to 4. It's got 41 hours left on Kickstarter. Go follow Travis Gibb. For some reason on Twitter, you're Jester Lou.
Well, that book is coming out soon.
Jester Lou.
No, there's a book connected to it that'll eventually explain that. Yes.
Okay, that's exciting. And then yeah, guys, just stay. If you're not following me on Twitter, that's where I'm most active. I'll do some streams here in the future. But yeah, if you're like, where the frick is Tyler? I'm busy making my books. Like I've got to get these books out. That's what's most important for me, so I can do phase 5 of Draw and Talk, the new reiteration of Draw and Talk, and we're gonna have
so you can't say you have phases and stuff because that just like supports the levels system that I don't
no, it's like, yeah, iteration. I used to be the how-to guy, then the drama, then the anime guy, then back to the drama, then burn the earth down, then then the level 2, and now it's just, now I'm like, okay, now I've got to figure out how to get out of indie comics and do something new, which I've got a plan. I'm very excited for. Just bought Super Plumber Sisters, Sexy Witch, and My Life is RPG. Looking forward to reading them. Oh yeah, I got your order today. Thank you so much for buying those. I hope you enjoy. I hope you enjoy reading them, but I hope the download links worked for you. Because someone the other day was like, I bought like $30 worth of your books and none of the download links worked, and I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. And then they worked like 5 minutes later. Travis 2024 channel will be called Draw and Draw. Oh, I mean Tyler. That makes sense. You should do a draw.
I was like, I will. That won't do well for me.
It could.
I can draw a good Ninja Turtle, but that's about it.
There you go. All right, guys. Peace.